Hi Soul Seekers, so welcome to another card reading. This one is going to be one that I'm going to aim to do monthly, and it's going to be your July 2023 horoscope. So we're going to go through each of the 12 signs. I recommend, well, to be fair, go with the flow. You've obviously got your sun sign, which is really important because it's how your energy is going to build, how your personality is going to build, your character is going to experience things. Then you've got your moon sign, which is going to tell you how you're going to feel during this time period and maybe where you're going to have unconscious, subconscious pulls to. And then also you're going to have your ascendant sign, which is really going to tell you what is actually going to happen in your physical reality. So the external stimulus that therefore stimulates and interacts with you in a very dynamic way. So I recommend looking at all three of those. And then the other way to do this, which is my absolute personal favorite because I friggin' love wild cards, is this is the wild card option. So I will tell you each one of these crystals, if it's message 1 all the way to message 12, and you intuitively feel which is the message for you, because this is designed to therefore give you the most comprehensive psychic reading that you could have for July, so you truly can leverage your life psychic style. Because I absolutely 100% leverage my life psychic style and I am loving it. And I use this both in my recruiting business with my partner that we do together. I do this as my Doctor of Chiropractic in different clinics that I've got. And then I also do it in a business to business where I work with chiropractic and companies. And to be honest, I love anything like this. So I truly believe it's all about leveraging your life psychic style because there are so many back doors in life, but you have to just be aware to the subtleties. So this is what all my readings are about. So let's go on to feel into which message is for you as the wild card. So is your message in message number 1? Is your message in message number 2? Is your message in message number 3? Is your message in message number 4? Is your message in message number 5? Is your message in message number 6? Is your message in message number 7? Is your message in message number 8? Is your message in message number 9? Is your message in message number 10? Is your message in message number 11? Or is your message in message number 12? So obviously with this, I've used this with the crystals because I do really think it can help you tune into your intuition better rather than kind of be like, oh, I'm an Aries sun, so I should just watch the Aries sun one. I think hopefully this will allow you to really use your intuition to guide you in a way that is way more abstract and, to be honest, is way more dynamic. And that's totally how I've always used psychic stuff to leverage my life. So hopefully it'll help you leverage your life too. So first of all, we're going to go straight on to message number 1, which is also Aries reading. See you soon. Bye. So this is for everybody that chose the wildcard message, message number 1, but it is also basically for the energy, the archetype of Aries. So let's see, what does Aries need to know for July 2023? So we're going to start with tarot. I'm going to read them we are reading in reversed. Okay, I don't think we would. Oh wow. Okay, first card in reverse we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, so wait, let me just pull a few more really quickly. Then we have the 6 of Pentacles. Then we have the 7 of Swords. Oh wow. Then we have the 6 of Cups. Okay, Aries energy. Whew, what is going on? Okay, so really quickly, really brief with this, we have Right, okay, so basically something that's going on in July that you need to be aware of is that you're emotionally getting stuck with something and you're able to get into a dynamic of give, receive, share and grow. But it's because either somebody is deceiving you about something and you're aware of it, and it means that you don't feel open to connect and collaborate. So that's for, you know, like one half of you. And then in the other half of you, it's because you yourself are actually deceiving yourself about something. And although you're not totally aware that you're deceiving yourself about something, it's almost like your subconscious, unconscious is making you feel very uncomfortable about whatever this self-deceit is. And again, it's stopping you, it's keeping you blocked, it's meaning that you can't emotionally move forward, and it's stopping you being able to open up and collaborate. But before you click over to another reading, because you're just thinking, oh my God, this sounds awful, great news, 6 of Cups. This is such good news, I feel personally. So the 6 of Cups, this is really showing us, and it's the right way up, that essentially you come into a place of balance and understanding over the month of July, which allows you to get into a place of collaboration. Which I think is awesome and really, really positive. But I do think it's really important. We need to uncover here what's going on, because clearly the beginning of the month in July is really starting open with you're getting a bit stuck, you're feeling a bit frustrated, you know, things, and definitely Aries energy. The one thing Aries energy doesn't want to feel is it doesn't want to feel like lack of movement and lack of forward movement, or just lack of any movement really. So there's this feeling of frustration on some level, because you know what, the frustration is also there because deep down inside, obviously, you do really want to be collaborating now. And I know the Aries archetype can be very kind of independent, can be very kind of like want to do things itself. You know, it's got this real sort of drive that it will sort itself out, it will do it itself. It's very, 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 very independent. But there's this call, and that's probably what this sort of a bit of lack of you know, being stuck a little bit, and there being a level of deceit either from somebody else that you're around or you even yourself to yourself. And I think the deceit might actually be that it's just that even though the independence part of your spirit really wants to just do things yourself, do things your way, there's this growing urge within you that you do genuinely really, really want to collaborate. You really want to be in a collaboration. And I think for some of you, this is a work collaboration. Some of you, this is a partnership collaboration, a romantic collaboration, even a collaboration with different family members, different friends. You really want to be able to, I'm hearing the words as you just really want to be able to open yourself up in a new way, which means that you, I think the thing is, it's admitting to yourself, first of all, that you do, how would I say it? It's like, I think this is the thing, Aries. I think it's about being really, really honest to yourself, and saying and realising that, you know what, no man is an island, and you're not an island either. And although you're incredibly competent, you're incredibly efficient, you know how to get things done, you have a lot of deep down inside, you have a lot of confidence and high self-esteem, which means that you do have the confidence to do things yourself. But the thing is, I think you're getting to this point, and it might actually be because we're getting in July, around about the 28th of July or something in the 20th, Venus fully goes retrograde in the sign of Leo. And I think I mentioned this in the June horoscopes, because Venus will be retrograde for 4 months. So the thing is, Venus is our values, but it's also how we connect, and it's also, I think, in many ways how we share luxuries in life. And I think you guys are really getting to this place where no matter where you're at to do with collaboration, you really want to take it to the next level. And I do see that this is absolutely something that is available for you and can happen. And it feels to me like it happens more towards the end of July. It gets you into that place because, first of all, it seems like you're just going to be gaining this self-awareness of potentially why you're not able to move on in a collaboration, in whichever collaboration that is, whether it's relationship, work, family, whatever it might be, why you're not able to emotionally move on, what's keeping you stuck, what's keeping you hesitant, which is totally frustrating to Aries, because Aries doesn't like to be hesitant, it likes to be assertive. But it also feels like you're going through a sort of quite a, it's not a, I don't want to say it's a super deep transformation, not in July, but it feels like over a long period of time you have been slowly going on a deep transformation to do with this idea. And also one thing to be aware of, Aries, is that very shortly we're going to get the change. And actually I do think it is in July, I just need to check that. But remember, we're going to get the change of the nodes, and the North Node is going to go into your sign, Aries. So again, you know, what has been building up over the last 6 months, I think is very important for you guys to be very honest with yourself about, deep down intuitively, psychologically, unconsciously, what you have been starting to feel, where you have the urges and the pull in, and what sort of collaboration it is that you're looking for. And it'll be different for all of you depending on what's going on in your birth chart. For some of you it might be a relationship, for some of you it might be creating a family, for some of you it might be healing stuff with your family, for some of you it might be business partnerships. It can be so many things, but it just feels like all of you, all of these Aries energies are wanting to be able to collaborate and create with almost like a partner that feels, and a partnership, no matter what partnership it is, romantic, business, work, family, in a partnership that's very balanced, because the Six of Cups is incredibly balanced and it's a very harmonious kind of interaction. And again, this feels like Aries archetype is sort of going into a mature state to do with collaboration. I think, to be honest, over this next 4 months with this Venus going retrograde, I really think so many of you Aries are really wanting to open up more to collaborating, and realizing that you will not lose your independence if you collaborate. In fact, you're starting to realize, and I think some of you will be there already and some of you will be getting this awareness over July, you're starting to realize that you really do want to collaborate. You really want that. You know that you're really competent and can do things on yourself, and now it's about finding meaningful, and the word that I'm really getting is very loyal. I think Aries really wants some loyal collaborations and partnerships coming in. Now let's see what we get here. So then we get this card Light, and then we also get Alignment. Oh, I do really like that. And actually I'm just going to get one more of these as well. Oh wow, Rebirth. Yeah, you know what I said to you about this transformation that I think has been going on over a long period of time, about you being aware of like partnerships, like communities, tribes, collaborations, all of this kind of thing that you're really kind of looking into and really starting to realize that you do really want. It feels like you've had a lot of awareness about this. So I'm seeing the Light card as it's conscious awareness. It's like you're seeing the bigger picture now about what it means to collaborate. And I think you're starting to realise, not fully, because I don't feel like you're fully going to understand who you are in a collaboration until you are really getting deeply involved in collaboration. But I think you're starting to get ideas of what it is that you need, because I think Aries can be really good at understanding what it is that it needs. Whether or not it gets what it needs, though, is all about where its value's at. Obviously those Aries energies that have healthy self-worth and self-value, they are good at not only that, basically getting their needs met in a healthy way. Those Aries energies that maybe aren't quite in that same space of being healthily aligned with their values and their self-worth, they might know what it is that they really want, but it can be very difficult to get that to manifest in physical reality. But I feel like with this Alignment card, no matter where you are to do with this, I feel like you're coming into a greater awareness in a very practical way. But even though we've got UFOs, which obviously is not really a practical element, I'm just getting this really strong awareness that it's like the understandings that you've been starting to gain about collaboration and getting your needs met, and also Aries, how to meet the other's needs in whatever partnership it is, because remember that's also super important, particularly if the collaboration is going to be Six of Cups, balanced and healthy for everybody involved. So I really feel you've got all this awareness, and in July it is going to start to show itself to you in a more practical way. So maybe opportunities are going to come in which will allow you to either engage with new healthy collaborations or engage with old unhealthy collaborations, but in a healthy way. Because with the rebirth card, it does very much feel like something's coming back around again. I actually feel like for 80% of you, what is coming back around is to do a pattern to do with collaboration, either at work or in business or in family or in love or whatever. I think it's coming back around again for you to do it in a different way, using all the conscious awareness that you have gained about everything to do with this now genuine desire, and it feels like a desire to actually be doing healthy collaborations. But very quickly, I know this has gone on a bit longer than what I wanted it to, but it's because obviously this seems to be quite important stuff for Aries, and it does make sense because again the North Node is going to be moving into your sign, but that also means that the South Node is going to be moving into your opposite sign, which is Libra. Now Libra is naturally this energy, Six of Cups. Libra rules the 7th house in relationships, so it's all about relationships, collaborations, business contracts, partnerships, business, love, the entire lot. It's all about partnerships. And I do really think July is important because it's going to show you in a very practical way where you are actually at to do with collaborating, and in that same light it's going to show you things where you need to work on and also things that you're doing great. And I think you need to be open to both. And again, with this Seven of Swords, I just think it's really important that you're really honest with yourself, Aries. I think sometimes an Aries archetype, because it's got this great confidence, sometimes that confidence is generated through telling itself certain stories that make it feel more confident, even if the reality isn't the same as the story that they're telling themselves. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and that can be a super healthy psychological tool to use. However, when the Seven of Swords comes up, it definitely tells me don't do that in July. Don't do that in July, because you need some kind of very honest appraisal about what is actually going on in physical reality. Because in order for you to get this greater alignment, which is going to get you closer and closer to what it is that you truly want to do with collaborating, it feels like you have to be very, I'm hearing the words, very real about where you're currently at. Because if life is going to give you an opportunity, which it seems that it is, to go and over and do something again, but now in a healthy way, in order for you not to recreate the same setup, you must first have conscious awareness of reality as its highest calculation, and not fudge it to make your confidence feel better or to make you feel better about the situation. It's about being really, really totally real about the situation, so you can then create a very, very different pattern. And remember, this pattern I think is going to go on for you guys for maybe quite a long time. You're looking at an 18-month period, because of obviously we've got these North Nodes the way that we have. And the South Node in these things. But I do think it's super important, super awesome. And this went on way longer than I wanted. I just wanted 10 minutes, but still, I want to do one last card for you guys. So let's see what you get. I got these Roald Dahl things because I love Roald Dahl. Okay, so you get Roald Dahl, Georgia's Marvelous Medicine. I love Georgia's Marvelous Medicine. I think it's such an incredible story. So what I'm really getting with this is, Aries, you're incredibly powerful, you're an incredible creator, you're really good at manifesting, but there's just something that and it's different for all of you, when it comes to having healthy, happy collaborations and partnerships, there's something that you're just not quite seeing. It's like a blind spot that you just can't quite see, and it's really, really important that you understand what it is. Because I also feel like it's like, the reason why I feel this is because I think I remember George's Marvelous Medicine. I think he creates something incredible, and then I feel like he can't remember how to recreate it again because he put so many different combinations in. And I just feel like there's something around the theme of like, don't distract yourself with all the different stories you've been telling yourself in the past about you in collaborations, you in partnerships and all the rest of it. because it's going to create some kind of it might have made you ultimately feel a lot more confident about where you're at to do with relating and collaborations. However, I just feel like it's creating a story that's keeping you stuck. And in the same way that in George's Marvelous Medicine, he creates this amazing thing, but he doesn't know how to recreate it again. It just makes me feel like it's just, he obviously wasn't being conscious with what he was making. There was no protocol, there was no structure, there was no writing anything down. It was just purely intuitive. Now, not that that's a bad way to go, but I just feel like it's very, very logical and practical if you look at your life as reality, as your highest calculation. So what's ever going on in your life right now, it is where you are at. So you just need to look very, very honestly at all your different collaborations, and you'll find a theme with all of them. And that theme, that reoccurring pattern, will tell you exactly where you're at. And it's that theme that you need to become consciously aware of so that you can have a complete and utter transformation and rebirth. But also be patient, be kind. I know Aries, you like things fast, but this is a longer cycle for you guys, because this is when the nodes of the moon are starting to shift onto the axis, which is super potent for you because it's the Aries and the Libra axis. But also Aries, North Node is on your side. So the North Node is always, I think, very like Jupiter, it's very optimistic. It really will pull you to your destiny. And I do believe that your destiny looks like it's heading at, you're going to understand how to do collaborations in a whole new amazing way, and you are going to love it. So I hope you enjoyed that, a bit longer than what I thought. Anyway, please check out all my other videos. I think I'll do an Akashic record one as well for July, so you can do your Akashic record reading, and you can have obviously your sun, moon and rising sign reading from this video, and you can also choose the wildcard option for an additional insight, and basically then you should be banging for July. So I hope you love that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. So hi guys, this is for, I really chose message number 2 is the wild card, but it's also basically for the Taurus energy. So that can be Taurus, sun, moon or rising sign. It's totally down to you. So let's see Taurus energy. What is it you need to know for July? So let's have a look. Oh wow. Okay, so the first card that we come out with is the Devil. Interesting. Let's pull some up quick. And then we have 4 of Swords. Okay. And then we have Page of Pentacles. And then one more. We have the Strength card. Okay. Let me just have a little think on this then. So, what is going on here? Okay, so one of the first things that I'm really hearing is that Taurus energy, you really need to take assertive action in July. I feel like, again, it's kind of interesting because there was something in the Aries energy actually about there being a bit of stagnation that was going on. And definitely with the Devil card here, followed by the 4 of Swords, there's some level of stagnation that's been occurring, or that has been occurred. And also with the 4 of Pentacles, I mean 2 4s here, so that's really locking in. However, 2 4s also becomes like one of those angel numbers. So it does tell me that Taurus, wherever you've been feeling entrapped, and I'm also hearing the word enslaved, it feels like you feel like you've been trapped on some level. Either somebody's kept you trapped, a situation has kept you trapped. It could even be your own psychology that has kept you trapped, because it's different for all of you. It does feel like you're going to find I'm hearing the courage and the bravery to move on in July from whatever has been keeping you kind of in that kind of stalemate energy. And for some reason, I get the feeling that Taurus energy, this is like stalemate within your own psychology. Now, not to say that that doesn't mean that there's been certain experiences or situations around in June, July, or building up over a long period of time, which have also put you in a place of stagnation. It's difficult to move forward and you feel entrapped, enslaved in some way. enslaved to some type of system that you have sort of like unconsciously agreed to. It almost feels like you've had an unconscious bias to something that's kept you trapped in some way. But with this, it feels like there's going to be a breakthrough in July. And also, obviously, Taurus energy, particularly, you know that you've obviously got Jupiter going through your sign of Taurus. So if you are sun, moon or rising sign in Taurus, you know, Jupiter is on your side. And again, with these 2 4s here, making the angel number 44, it does feel like you're going to get a lucky break with moving forward from whatever has kept you in a place of stagnation. And again, I do think be really open that it's your own unconscious bias to some concept that has then manifested the situation of being entrapped. And I just really get the feeling that you're going to get almost like Jupiter can give a very expansive, it's very philosophical, it can allow you to see the much bigger picture. And it feels like in July you're really going to get to see this much bigger picture about how you've created and almost manifested this sensation, this reality, this psychology of being trapped. And I don't know why, but the Devil card completely I just keep hearing trapped, 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 trapped. So this isn't about, I mean, it could be about codependency for some of you. And I think often that can be an unconscious bias that a lot of us are signed up to. In many ways, not just relationships, but work relationships, our relationship with money, all sorts of stuff. But it feels like, I think this is it, that unconscious bias to do with some level of codependency that you have set up with something to do with love and money, it feels like, because it feels like it's linking into this Venus retrograde, or which will occur in July. It'll be towards the end of July, and it feels like towards the end of July, this is when you're going to get this real breakthrough. And you know what, you're gonna really start, you'll just gain complete and utter autonomy over this, so it is no longer something that plays out for you. But now let me just get a few more cards, because this is quite interesting. Let's see, we're going to get 2 of these. So what else do we need to know? Or do you need to know for July? Let's have a look. So we have mushroom, healing old brain patterns. Yeah, you see, what did I say about some unconscious bias? It really does feel like you've got some level of unconscious bias to do with some form of codependency, to do with love and or money and or love. It's to do with things that are of value. And again, Taurus, I think what's going to happen is by the end of this month in July, you're going to have a huge amount of burst of energy, because you really, innately, Venus rules Taurus. So really at the core of your energy, Taurus, is you really love love, you really love luxury, you love value, you love things that are of high self-worth, whatever high self-worth means to you. For somebody it can be a designer bag, for somebody else it could be being in a beautiful meadow. Like, it really, I don't know, it's different for all of you, but the main point is that you have been off-piste to do with things that you do really value on some level. And I think that there's just something that you have, like I said, you've had an unconscious bias to do with this in some way. But with this, and like I said here with the Strength card, and also with the 2 lucky 4s here, I think, and mushrooms healing old brain patterns, I just really feel like you're going to become so aware of any sort of, let's say, like, neuroplasticity, which is all about neurons that fire together, wire together. So you're going to become really aware of psychological patterns and thought processes that you have had over and over again, that have built strength so much within your internal energy field and psychology that then it has started to manifest in the physical reality, and it's led to a space of you being stuck. You're going to undo all of that. It's just going to, it just feels like finally you're going to fully break through with this. And one thing I would say as well, Taurus, is this feels like quite an old pattern. So this feels like something that you could have been working on for a really long period of time, which is going to give you so much energy, and it's going to really liberate you, because it's just going to open up your energy field to something which is much more authentic and innately you. And it's that then psychology, and it's that then belief system that's going to come in and start permeating through you, your body, your feelings, your thoughts, your energy field, and it's slowly going to be seeping out and manifesting in your external reality. And again, this is this great thing about having Jupiter in your sign for a year, as well as that magical North Node and Jupiter conjunction in Taurus last month. Let's see what we have here. Allow. Oh, I love this. And this is perfect. Allow, and it says accepting all parts of you. Yeah, so there's definitely something, again, this makes me think self-worth, like what we were just talking about. It's something about what you value. And maybe you've put yourself into a place of denial. Like, what? Denial came up in Aries as well. So it feels like there's maybe quite an energetic thing in July about people sort of starting to see something clearly that before had kept them trapped. But for you guys, it just feels like you're going to come to this... when Taurus energy becomes very accepting, it becomes incredibly receptive. And as it becomes receptive, it really, really becomes a magnet for all the things that it wants to manifest. Because I kind of feel like Taurus is one of the best archetypes for manifesting, without a shadow of a doubt. And again, with these 2 fours here, one in the swords, so one in the mind, and then also one in the pentacles, so one in the earthly form. It really does feel like you're going to be able to use your mind and your consciousness to really manifest something different. And this is all going to start to kick off in July, which I think is absolutely amazing, and I love it. Now let me just choose. I've got these, I have these roll doll cards, so let's just see. What do you guys get? So you get The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and 6 more. So you know what, I've never read Henry Sugar. I've heard it's amazing though, I'd love to. And actually, if I look at the picture here, there's a whole load of money that looks like somebody is throwing out of the window. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like this person here is throwing loads of money out into the street, and everybody is grabbing it and essentially receiving it. And again, this goes back to what I'm saying to do with your energy. You are an incredibly abundant energy, is the Taurus archetype. And really it can manifest, and it can generate, and it can sustain, have long-term sustainability with wealth and resources. And it feels like on some level somewhere you've been blocked with that. And if you have a lot of money, it could have been in your love life that was blocked. If your love life is working, it could be in your money. Or for some souls, and I think a lot of souls that are on intense journeys to really evolve, it could be in both areas of life. But either which way, it really does feel like that is all... It's all going to start coming to a shift and a positive new beginning in July. But please be mindful as well. I see this as quite a long cycle because for some reason it's linked into this Jupiter energy. And Jupiter is with you, Taurus, for 12 months. So just see this as a long-term project. But I feel like it's super positive direction, and I really love that for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. What was I going to say? I'm now offering shorter readings as well if you want to go onto my website. So I'm doing 5-minute readings, 10-minute readings, 15-minute readings, 30-minute readings, and then obviously 60-minute readings. So if I can support you in any way with this, please just drop me an email, and I would love doing that. Other than that, please check out the other videos, and definitely use this for either the wild card, if you haven't, as well as your sun, moon and rising sign. So take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye! So hi guys, this is for everybody that chose the wild card, also the wild card option with message number 3. But this is basically the reading for the Gemini archetype. So whether you're a Gemini, sun, moon or rising sign, or like I say, you just got pulled to it through the wild card, this is the reading for you. So, actually feeling pulled, we go a bit different with you guys. We're going to start with your oracle. So let's just see, Gemini. Okay, so we start off with transformation. Okay. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. It's there in gold. Oh no, it won't flick on. Anyway, trust me, it's transformation. And then we get starseed. Okay, so this really is a deep core part of you which is getting transformed in July. And then we have, awareness. I love this card. I think it's so beautiful. It is totally and utterly gorgeous. Okay, so let's see. And I'm also hearing that for you guys, we roll these dice. So let's just see what we get here. Okay, nice. So I'm not sure if that's the north node or the south node, but because it came up like this as the north node in that direction, I'm saying this is the north node. So we get the north node, then you get the 12th house, and then you also get Aries energy. Oh, okay, so Gemini energy, what I can tell you for July is you are going to have a deep transformation about something which is at the very core of you. I'm seeing the starseed energies, it's just something which is at the very, very core of you, which is kind of like something that is, I don't know, it's like, it's a part of you which it feels like has been concealed for a long time. And this awareness card, I'm seeing it as it's other people around you, and it's your physical reality is now going to become aware of this kind of like deep, beautiful part of you that until, well, forever, I'm hearing, you have kept concealed and hidden in some way. Because with the 12th house as well, the 12th house is a very secretive house. It's a very unconscious house. Things are really kind of hidden. But you see, when the Aries energy is basically in that 12th house, I often think Aries is it's not like it's an open or a closed energy. It's just like I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very engaged energy. So often the 12th house can be more of almost like a still lake, where there's like, when Aries comes in, it kind of ruffles up all the still lake, and it feels like that is exactly what's going to happen. And actually, when I look at this picture here with all of these butterflies, again, it kind of feels like, I don't know, it just sort of got this energy of things being ruffled up, and things are going to open up and evolve very, very quickly. And with this north node energy here, I'm actually hearing as well, you see, the north node and Aries are going to be linked in July because the nodes of the moon change signs. So this actually, the north node actually does move into Aries for everybody, and it stays there for 18 months. So again, this tells me that although you're going to have a rapid transformation, it's going to start in July. This really is an 18-month process, and it's an 18-month process about the deep part of you, the beautiful part of you, the part of you that sometimes maybe you hide away or you conceal or something like that. It's now going to be something that everybody can see and everybody can be aware of, and you are going to love it. Like it no longer wants to be hidden. So whatever it is that you have been hiding or concealing, and some of you might even have been doing this to yourself, because Gemini's got such a fast mind, it can tell itself stories, and these stories can start to not necessarily become a physical reality, but it's almost like you sort of tell it so many times that in your mind it does become a physical reality, even though other people might not see that as the physical reality. But I kind of see that kind of cloudiness, like the cloudiness of the 12th house, because also the 12th house is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is prone to be, on some level, it can have illusions, smokes and mirrors, delusions. It kind of feels like all of that is going to get wiped away. And you know, the Aries energy, I don't know, let me just pull a little bit more, because I've got a few things coming through, and I know what cards we're going to use. We're going to use these. Let's see. So I do really think Gemini archetypal energy, or if you chose this as your wild card, I think it's really, really important that you start to, if something happens in July which almost puts a bit of pressure on you to open up about something or to reveal something that you have kept hidden in some way, I just really see it as it's really important that you allow it to come up into the light. And that might even, first of all, be in your own unconscious, subconscious. But I do think for some of you as well, it's because Aries is such a physical sign. It engages with physical reality, like physical reality is a sport and a challenge. That's really the sort of energy that you ideally need to bring in with whatever you see in this way. But now we have here justice, Aquarius, social justice, radical effort, rebellion. And instantly I hear with this is rebellion. You have to rebel against your own hidden psychology, which in itself is so difficult to do because it's hidden. But again, with the awareness card here, and the starseed energy is going to be highly intuitive, you do have the ability to do this. But I kind of think with you having this reading, it's about, first of all, just being open to the concept that this is now time and it's now ready to have this kind of thing happen, and that will hurry it along in some way. Oh, no way. Now we also have your card here, Gemini. And it says Gemini, stimulation, interaction, communication. Yeah, so you see what I was saying about that Aries energy. And the Aries energy often will be very communicative with life. Or not communicative, sorry. It will be very engaging, interacting with life. Like it's a sport. You know, it's really important that you do this. You've just got to kind of get out of the head. It's kind of like get out of the head space and just take the action, say the thing, do the thing without overthinking it. I think this is something that's really important, and that in itself might be rebellion to your own psychology, Gemini archetype energy, because like I say, the Gemini energy could really overthink itself. But actually, I've got a video which is the highest potential of the Gemini archetype, and it might be worth you looking at that, because in that video I explain how Gemini has this ability when it's communicating with somebody else to really draw ideas from the ether in a way that neither party would have been able to do without this conversation occurring. And it feels like you need to have that sort of openness, but it's not so much about you communicating with another person, it's about you being very interactive with life. And what I mean by that is very engaging. You really are doing things, you're taking lots of action basically in July, and you're going to get momentum with that action, and then within that action opportunities are going to pop in, is how I completely see it, and then it's for you to act on it. And then we have here Earth, home, healing, protection. And I think the main message here then is the protection message. So I think, you know, sometimes it can be quite scary to have to open up about things which we usually keep concealed, which is the 12th house. And again, it can be quite scary to suddenly become aware of a story that maybe you've told yourself, which has been a bit of a smokes and mirrors, even to your own psychology. It can be a bit scary to have to readjust to that conscious awareness about something that now you starting to realise you might have told yourself a story that, for example, no longer is relevant. I think it can be quite scary, but the thing is, protection, I think this is such a great card for you to have. I think just really, really trust that this is the way for you guys to go, and see it as rebelling against your own status quo within the stories that you have told yourself, which have then generated a certain psychology in you, which is then set up your physical reality the way that it is. But as the first card we got out is the transformation card, I mean, I can just tell that, like, definitely, this is completely now time for you to have a complete and utter breakthrough. And you know what? It's strange. It feels like, although you guys have a lot of breakthroughs with your own mind, this is physical. Because with the Aries energy, with the Earth energy, it just feels physical, very, very physical. Now let me just choose one more here. I have got some rolled R cards just as a one-off, so let's see what we get, Gemma. Oh wow, the Witches! Oh my god, I friggin' love this. I love this book. My gran read it to me on her knee, and I just used to look forward to hearing it every time I was little. And then I friggin' love the films. It's amazing, and it's such a great concept. And you know what I'm hearing instantly with this? It's like this. You know how those witches look really beautiful, and then they take off all their stuff, and then suddenly they're these really ugly witches? It kind of feels like, not that you have put on a pretty face to do with yourself, to do with whatever you have been concealing, but it just feels like, I almost feel like it's the reverse way round actually. You've had some kind of smoke screen around yourself, to yourself, to do with something that I actually think has potentially made your life more ugly. And actually, it's when you take away that smoke screen that you have told yourself in that story, you know what? Your life's going to become even more beautiful. So it's like the inverse way of the story of the witches, where the witches were beautiful, took off the mask, and then were ugly. It feels like yours is the opposite way around, that essentially when you take away that smoke screen that you've had around yourself, to yourself, to do with the story that you've been telling yourself, your life will become even more beautiful in the way that you want it to. But this is what drives the transformation going forward. Oh, I'm just going to balance that there. So I actually think that's really cool, and I really, really like that. And I'd actually be really genuinely interested to know what you guys feel that is all about. Because that's a really interesting concept in a way, for it to be like that reverse way around. Because often we hear about, well, I suppose people say take off the mask, right, for your true self. But this isn't really about a mask. This is really just a smoke screen, a smokes and mirrors thing that you've even been telling yourself to yourself, which has caused your life to get a bit murky and muddled in this area that you've been telling yourself. And as soon as you take away that smoke screen and blow away the smoke, your life is going to be able to manifest in a much more beautiful way, where previously it had been quite muddled and murky because of the illusions of it all and the difficulties within that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reading. Hope that wasn't too intense. But, you know, this is kind of what comes out, so roll with it. And I do think it will only be an amazing thing, by the way. I really, really do. And you're going to feel so much happier, like so much happier. And I think it's going to be quite an adventure for you as well. I do hear that. So, you know, this uncovering, this blowing away of that smoke screen, it's not going to be bad. It's going to be an adventure. And I do think Gemini energy likes a bit of an adventure, even though they might say they don't, but you guys do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reading. Also, please check out any of your other sun, moon and rising sign in here. And also maybe choose your wildcard option if this wasn't your wildcard option. And also I've got now some more readings on my website. So basically you can now have 5-minute readings, 10-minute readings, 15-minute readings, but just a quick snapshot. Because if you maybe had this reading and then maybe you've got another burning quick question, that's the ideal thing that I can answer to you in a 5, 10 or 15-minute session. So that's always available. Anyway, have an amazing July, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye. Hi guys, so this is for everybody that chose message number 4 as the wild card, but this is also the reading for their Cancer archetype energy. So if you are sun, moon or rising Cancer, this one is for you. So what am I feeling? You guys first. I kind of need to do these two both at the same time. So let's see, 2 of these, and then I'm hearing 2 of these ones as well. Really strangely, well not strangely, but every single reading has had different sequence and set of cards, so you know, there must be quite different stuff happening for different energies. So let's just see, we don't read anything reversed, I'm hearing. The first card is deep quiet, stillness and meditation. Okay, I love all the purples there. It's also like something is trying to reach out to you that is quite subtle, and that's why you actually need to be in a place of receptivity, and you'll get that receptivity by slowing things down. I actually think within inside you, first of all. And then we have Will-o'-the-wisp. Oh, there you go. Treasures hidden in the shadows. Again, that to me is really a sign of in July, something very subtle. It's like this. Somebody is trying to whisper to you in a subtle way, but really the message is a message that's being screamed at you, is what I'm hearing. So if I decipher that, what that kind of tells me is life has been trying to tell you something for quite a while, but you just haven't been able to hear it. So even though life is screaming this to you, the thing is the messages are only coming up in your physical reality in a subtle way. And so it's really for you to be able to perceive that subtlety. And it's almost going to be quite suggestive, I think. But you're kind of going to have this, again, meditation and stillness, treasures hidden in the shadows. When something is in the shadow, it's never straightforward. You can't see it easily. And also sometimes it can be quite hard to understand exactly what's being said. So I suppose you're just being given the heads up that you need to be open to, I think it's going to be a reoccurring message. It's a reoccurring message that life is showing you in some way. Either people are going to be saying something similar to you about something in your life, or maybe you hear it in a song, or maybe you hear it in a combination, or you have a bit of a dream, or you just get a random insight. I think you need to be open to all these type of subtleties in July, because I am also hearing it is really important that you understand what is being subtly said to you, because it has quite strong ramifications for your future. And the sooner that you can hear this message, the sooner you can integrate it and start applying it in your physical reality, and therefore leveraging your life through the subtlety of this insight. And although it's a subtle insight, it's incredibly powerful. And what I'm hearing as well, it's the example, a metaphor is like homeopathic medicine. So you know how they use a tiny drop of often what the actual problem is, but they do it in such a small dose that it's almost like your body can start to respond to that subtle small dose, and it can build up some immunity and some kind of intelligent, I don't know, ecosystem internally to do with this irritant, so that when you get exposed to that irritant in your life in a much bigger dosage through life in itself, your body already knows how to work with it. And getting that is exactly how to describe the subtlety of this message. So the sooner that you understand that subtlety, the sooner that you'll be able to work with it. So when this message becomes a lot louder in the future, it's not going to derail you, because you already have a solution for it. In fact, it might not even derail you at all. You know what? That was channeled, and I'll tell you how I know, because I can't for the life of me say that again. And that's how I always know. But anyway, let's see what else we've got here. So then we have Wonder, 52, but also 5 and a 2 is a 7 in numerology. So this is about internal reflection. But also 7s can be quite slippery from the point of view is they can be not straightforward. It's not so black and white. And again, that all links into me with this whole kind of subtle message that we're getting here. Oh wow. And then here we go, deception. So a 5 and a 3 is an 8. So 8 is often a physical manifestation of something, and you've got deception here. So with the deception, I don't think that this is a problem, but I just feel like, just give me 1 second. I feel like I need to read this a bit intuitively. What is that deception? I'm hearing that the main deception is that this is a crazy one. I don't really quite know how to say it other than how it's being said to me. But the deception is the fact that whatever this message is, you think you've already sorted this, so you're not actually open to the message. And that is the deception, if that makes sense, because you're kind of deceiving yourself about having sorted something when actually it still isn't quite sorted. But good news, don't panic. If you can pick up the subtlety of this message, and you'll first of all get it by being open, because the wonderment is almost like the naivety. It's almost like that child wonderment where a child has very few judgments or expectations. It just very much kids can very much live in the moment. If you can live in the moment and be aware of the subtleties, you will become completely conscious of whatever you have been deceiving yourself about, which has been keeping you stuck in some way. And it's not difficult, and it's not painful, and it's really not a big deal. But it's just time for you to become aware of this now. It's really interesting. This is a similar sort of message to message number 1, or the Aries energy. So if you've got Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you're also attracted to the wildcard message 1, I would definitely check that out. Now let's just see what other energies. Oh, one of these. Let's see here. What else does Cancer need to know? Okay, we have Light, and then one more. Pilgrim. Oh, I love that card. It's so beautiful. Okay, so let's see. So, you know, with this Pilgrim card and it being close to the Deception card, and they've got these reds kind of colours going off, it's just giving me more feelings, Cancer, that this, whatever this is that is you have pulled the wool over your own eyes to do with you. It's something related into the root chakra and also your sacral chakra. So it's kind of very physical and earthly, like security. It's to do with what makes you feel secure and how your desires can manifest in a way once you feel secure. So there's something where you don't quite feel secure at the moment, and it is stopping you being able to create something that you do desire, or you want to experience something in a certain way. But because you don't feel safe, you're not able to do that. But I kind of feel like you're doing the Cancer thing, which I do love. Cancer energy. It is a super beautiful energy, and often if women have Cancer in their ascendant and they have Venus or the moon there, they can be super physically attractive. So Cancer is such a beautiful energy, it truly is, and it's very feminine. But I do feel like you can sometimes have that protective outer layer, and that protection can come up a little bit. And I feel like the protection that has come up is the deception that you have told yourself about something being sorted, which isn't actually yet sorted. And you've told yourself that it is sorted so that you feel safer. But the problem is, in telling yourself that and having it as a boundary, so, oh no, it's sorted, I'm fine. So you're not aware of the different messages that life's trying to give you that will help you properly sort it, rather than pretending to have it sorted. That pretense that it's sorted has actually become a physical barrier for you being able to understand what life is actually wanting you to know, so that you can fully become safe, and therefore you can manifest something that is to do with one of your desires. But the good news, and I always love the good news, is the Light card. So again, and the Light card is right near the Wonderment energy, and look how also similar those kind of cards look together energy-wise, colour-wise, compared to these two energies that kind of, and colours that kind of look similar. So what I do love is that as long as you are open, because light kind of opens up a space, you know what I mean? Like when it's dark, it kind of closes down a space. And if you've got white walls and stuff like that, it can open up a small space. And I feel like as long as you're open, if you're open, then there'll be the chance for this wonder, this curiosity to come in, to do with these subtle messages about where it is you've told yourself you're safe, but actually you don't feel safe. And life is going to tell you how to actually become safe, so that you can open up and manifest what you want. Because then I do also see with this Pilgrim card, and this Pilgrim card often reminds me of The Alchemist, you know, that book with the 3 pyramids. It does really feel like your desire, like something that's really important to you, also is in the process of manifesting, but it cannot come to you until you just resolve this thing about where you feel unsafe to do with something, what it is that you desire to manifest. So that is completely what I hear for you there. Now, let me just get a card, a Royal Dial card, because I love these. What's the final message for you guys? So it says here, it says, the books transported her into new worlds and introduced her to amazing people who lived exciting lives. Oh, I think this is Matilda. Oh, I love Matilda. Such a cool story. But I think the concept here is the books transported her into new worlds and introduced her to amazing people who lived exciting lives. You know, for Matilda, these books opened her up, gave her wonder about life, and also allowed her, I think in Matilda as well, she then gained a concept of her primary caregivers and maybe how they weren't so nurturing to her, because she was expanding her consciousness beyond her own home at a really young age. And that expansion of like going beyond her familiar boundaries of her home life allowed her to start to get a different perception about what life was and what was available. And outside of those boundaries, outside of her home, was a whole other beautiful world. Like it says, amazing people who lived exciting lives. And I do think Cancer, that little shell that you can have around you as a protection, it can be a protection that kind of keeps you in a very small, myopic world. And although that might feel safe, if you really want to manifest whatever it is that you desire, it is beyond that familiar comfort zone of your shell. And a bit like Matilda, it's about engaging with life. But for you, it's not so much about reading books. I really feel like it's you're going to hear something. It really feels like you're going to hear it. And that message is going to be repeated several times in July, either through different people, and then you might hear it on the radio, or there's a subtlety, and that subtlety there is something that can help you unlock all of this. which can really help you manifest whatever it is that you're desiring right now. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. I totally loved reading for you. I now offer 5-minute readings, 10-minute readings and 15-minute readings. So they're ideal where if you mainly understand this and then you've got a tiny bit more of a question, you might want to just message me for one of those readings, because then I can answer it for you super quick and you can get the insight that you need. But also, obviously, if this wasn't your wild card, look for your wild card option, and also look for your sun, moon and rising sign in this reading. And then put it all together, and that in itself might even give you some of the subtle message that will help you feel safe to create what you desire. Anyway, I'm wishing all the best for you with this. I know you can do it, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. So hi guys, this is for everybody that chose message number 5 for the wild card option. But this is basically the reading for the Leo archetype energies. So if you are sun, moon or rising sign Leo, this is the reading for you. So guys, I actually feel like we're going with these really intuitive tarot cards to begin with. So what do you need to know for July? Obviously the really big thing, as you know I mentioned in the last week reading, is Venus is going to be in your sign for 4 months, and she's going to start to go retrograde in your sign towards the end of July. So this is going to be super significant for anybody sun, moon or rising sign Leo, or indeed anybody, because we all have Leo in our chart somewhere. But let's just see, I'm hearing we don't read anything reverse, so let's have a look. Nice, everybody would love to see this, particularly if you're working on some kind of business venture or money thing. You start off the reading with the Ace of Coins. That for me, along with Venus being in your sign, and Venus rules to in some level money and love and things like that, but definitely money, it feels like some sort of windfall can be opening up for you financially in July, or at least the very beginning. Oh my god. I totally have to tell my partner to read this because he's a Leo. 10 of Coins. Oh my god. That is completely incredible, because the Ace of Coins is like the beginning of something financially, but that's going to be very prosperous. And the 10 of Coins is actually something which is completely manifested, and it is long-term prosperity. And basically this is your pot of gold. These two cards together is a pot of gold reading, and the fact that they come out in the very beginning of your sign reading, Leo, is incredible. What is this one though? Let's hope it's a good one. Let's see. No way! Oh my god! Oh my god, this is amazing. I'm totally going to tell my partner to rewatch this video. So then this is the next one, which is 10 of Cups. So obviously 10 of Cups is like complete and utter emotional fulfillment. And obviously this is usually like the happy family. And also 10 of Coins is usually like the happy family. So it kind of feels like, oh, I'm so pleased for you guys, Leo. This is so great. And this must be a big part of Venus being in your sign. But essentially July is a great time. So any business ventures, any projects that you're working on financially, any kind of raise that you're looking for in your job, if you work for somebody or if you're trying to go for a new position, all of this seems like it's something that not only starts in July, but it's almost like you start working in July, or you start receiving that money in July as well. And essentially 10 of Cups, this is going to be something which is incredibly emotionally fulfilling to you. And because you feel so good about yourself, it's only going to spread into the other areas of your life, particularly your relationship and family life, because 10 of Cups is very much the happy family card. And also the 10 of Coins, it very much shows like a generational family. So you've got the kids there, but you've also got the grandparents there. So again, it feels like this is something that's just going to be auspicious for everybody that you are connected to in some way. I love it. I love it so much. Wow. Okay. Where do we go from there? Let's just pull a few more. And I'm also hearing that we're going to roll the dice for you guys as well. So before the roll dice, I'm not going to turn these over until we've rolled the dice. So let's see. What do we get? Oh, okay, cool. No way again. So I'm going to go straight into the middle one, which is 10. So the 10th house, guess what? It's your career, it's your status house. It's where you can receive the most amount of recognition. And again, it can be very much linked into like job, business, career, success, status, but also family. It can be like the father energy as well, or the mother energy, depending on somebody's chart. And also then we have the sun, and you're ruled by the sun, Leo. So again, that just feels like a double dosing of positive energy to you. And then we also have Sagittarius, a fellow fire sign that is incredibly expansive and adventurous. So I just kind of feel like July in particular, and I guess a lot of you Leos will have a birthday in July. July just feels like a totally, I don't know, banging month for you completely. But it also feels like there's a lot of financial gain or something very... if it's not financial for some of you, your self-worth just skyrockets, essentially. But I do feel like with the 10th house and with the 10 of cups and the ace of coins and even the sun in a way, it very much feels like it's something to do with finances. But again, those finances are linked into emotional fulfillment and a happy family life, which is great. I do think though, with the Sagittarius and the Leo, the one thing to be mindful of, I think you're going to have a lot of energy. And obviously if something comes through to you in a really successful way, you know, you Leos are just going to be like gushing from the heart. You're going to feel amazing. Life's going to feel wonderful. You're going to get all that buoyancy back about you and sort of the playful energy and the charisma. And I suppose all you just need to do is like make sure that you don't what is it, you know, when like a moth to the flame, just make sure that the bright lights that go off in your life don't also end up just zapping your energy dead, if that kind of makes sense. Like a fly like zooming into a light because it's drawn to the bright lights. I think try and keep some groundedness is what I'm saying. Having said that, to both the beginning and the ending of the coins energy, of the pentacles energy, is the most grounding energies available anyway. So I don't actually think that's going to happen for many of you, but I just thought I'd just pop it in there because it might be something where you notice that your energy goes really, really high and then you just feel really quite tired because you almost expended so much energy in some way because you were so excited. So just stay open to that. And then we have, ooh, like this, Realms. It's a really pretty card. And we also have, oh wow, Dimensions. The reason why I'm kind of saying wow about that is because Realms and Dimensions has got a very kind of similar-ish energy. I feel, what I intuitively feel is this, and I'm going to pull some cards to confirm. I feel like you've obviously got a vision. There's a vision that you've been working towards, and it does feel very much like it's been a vision because I'm seeing this woman staring at the window and it feels like she's been daydreaming about it on some level. But then with the Dimensions card, it kind of feels, it confirms this really, that a vision that you've been working on, a vision that you've been really, really intently focusing on, like this woman is focusing on the windows there, is really going to start to become very, very practical and physical, because obviously we've got green here, a lot of earth energy, and there's also a bridge. The bridge is interesting to me. I just want to get one more card for this because I feel like there's something important to know about this bridge energy. Because again, Realms, it's like bringing two worlds together. So let's see. We have, oh, Judgment, Capricorn. Capricorn, setting priorities, efficiency, can't say that word, and practicality. Okay. I mean, again, this, you know, Capricorn's an incredibly grounded energy. Capricorn rules the 10th house, about career, status, businesses, everything like that. Capricorn is the businessman or the businesswoman or the business person, however you want to say it. And Capricorn very much would be linked into the 10 of coins, I feel. So again, I think just the bridge is just saying that if you have any, because, you know, Capricorn as well can also be the devil card, and the devil card can be a bit of a trickster. So I think just stay your beautiful, positive, optimistic self in July, and just follow the magic, basically, because everything here feels like you've worked on something for a long time that you've been imagining, like daydreaming about, but, you know, taking lots of practical action, and now it's actually really physically manifested, and it's building a bridge between things as well. So I don't know if certain areas of your life have been I don't know, maybe if you've been working on things really hard, or even if just things are really going to change in some way on a very physical level, whether that's financial or it's your own self-worth, on some level it's going to allow you to sort of build bridges in certain other areas of your life. And I think it's because you go into a place of true confidence. So any areas in your life, Leo, where you have maybe felt insecure in some way, it feels like that's all going to be something that starts to resolve itself as well. So I just think that's an amazing energy, and that was a super easy reading to do. I mean, I cannot even tell you how much I would love to have a card reading and the Ace of Coins comes out, followed by the 10 of Coins, followed by the 10 of Cups. That's amazing. Anyway, let's finish it off with a Roll Dial card. Aha! So I think this is a picture from, what's it called? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so you know what I'm instantly thinking with this? Okay, Leo, this is your Willy Wonka golden ticket moment in July. It's your golden ticket moment, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, how obviously he goes from poverty and then he opens that chocolate bar and there's like a golden ticket, and then obviously all the amazing things that manifest as a result of that. But there is just one thing that I really want to tell you, Leo, because this works so well with the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I know you guys will get this because you guys are so loyal to the people around you, and also, you know, you are so kind-hearted. But Charlie, you remember how he did something with his like grandpa where he gave him the chocolate in the beginning? I think it's just like, stay humble, keep humble, involve your family members in some way, because again, Charlie brought his grandpa with him to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you know how like all the other characters that went to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they all ended up like dying off one by one because they had some really undesirable personality trait which basically became their hubris or whatever, and it ended them. I think keep your virtue, and I think that means many things for different people, so you interpret that how it makes sense to you. But again, I would just say I really don't know what's going to happen for you, Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising, or for whoever chose this as the wild card option, but definitely you are getting a Willy Wonka golden ticket moment in July, so enjoy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reading. Please like, subscribe to my channel for more. Obviously, check out your other Sun, Moon and Rising sign in this video. Also choose your wildcard option if this wasn't your wildcard. And also, I'm now going to do 5-minute, 10-minute and 15-minute readings that are a lot cheaper. So if there's something you'd like a little bit more clarity on from these readings, the 5-minute and 10-minute, 15-minute option is perfect. But other than that, have an absolutely amazing July, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye! Hi guys, this is everybody that chose wildcard message number 6, but essentially this is the reading for the Virgo archetype. So any of you that are Sun, Moon or Rising sign Virgo, this is for you. Sorry, I'm super thirsty because I've been going through these really quick. Just really need a bit of that. Right, let's see Virgo, which cards are we going for you first? There we go with these. Actually no, these. So let's see Virgo, what's the first energy that's coming for you in July? So we have, oh wow, the law of intention. Oh wait, I can't, yeah, there we go. Law of intention. And then we have the law of movement. Okay, I really like that. And then let's have one more. Oh, I love that. Sharing energy. Called the sharing card. Okay, so the person that's coming in, I think it's because it's very much the sharing energy, but it's also the movement energy. So I don't know if you Virgos will know, but particularly if you're a Virgo rising, you are going to have the nodes of the moon are going to be shifting in July, and they go into, north node goes into Aries and south node goes into Libra. So very much the axis of the horoscope energy that's being activated for everybody is this thing about independence versus collaboration. And with you having the sharing card, I think this is particularly significant for you guys to do with collaborating in July. And also with you Virgos rising, a lot of you will have this energy of the north node in Aries will be in your 8th house, which is all about shared resources. Now with this law of intention and law of movement, I feel like Virgos, I feel wherever you're at on this spectrum, I'm going to explain the energy first and I'll break it down into spectrums. But I feel like a lot of you Virgos have, what would I say? You've had a very indirect path to do with finding partnerships. And it can be partnerships romantically, or it can be partnerships work-wise, business-wise, anything in that kind of way. And I feel like you are finally going to come to some kind of culmination over the next 18 months to do with you. And it's not really just about partnerships now. Now it becomes true emerging, like merging yourself with another through something which is almost quite, it's not necessarily legally binding, but it's got the energy frequency of something legally binding. So essentially it's building a very deep structure where the roots run deep, is kind of the energy that I'm feeling with this. And there's something that happens in July that's going to start to give you, with the law of movement, but also with the way this picture feels to me, it's bringing you the beginnings of this merging, this sharing. And I feel as well for quite a few of these Virgos, and it'll be different for all of you, or if you've chosen this wild card, I think it's going to be happening over multiple areas of your life. So I think there's going to be, and I know the Virgo archetype energy will love this, it has a very holistic feeling to it, this energy that's coming into your life over the next 18 months with this North Node Aries, South Node Libra. But also I kind of feel like it really activates itself and it shows itself with, you know, law of intention. It's like the beginning of how something starts has a background beat to the way it goes on. Now in July, these nodes of the moon are going to be shifting. So it's almost like the beginning inception of this new energy. And I think it's very, very important. So Virgos, I know you can be meticulous. I know you honour patterns. I know you honour a holistic approach in life. So my suggestion to you would be, when it comes to do with any form of sharing, whatever that might be, but sharing in a collaborative way or sharing in a resources way. I suppose very much sharing in a resources way, because the South Node in Libra will be in your second house, which is the house of your own resources. I feel, but your own resources can be your own innate gifts and talents as well that you use to generate resources. I think it's really important that you have a very holistic approach with this. And in July, everything that's to do with your gifts and talents, your own resources, people or persons or business contracts or anything like that, where they're going to become a bit more legally binding, or you're going to blend your assets more. And your assets could also be your time, as well as your financial resources and other stuff. I think it's really important that you go in with a certain type of intention, and the intention is what it is that you want when it comes to this very deep transformative energy of merging your energy with another person, another belief, another business, another anything. I think get really clear about how you want these energies to start, and use that intention in the beginning of July whenever one of these sharing collaborative resources or your gifts and talents, anything to do with all of these frequencies comes up. I think this is super important, because how you start this is going to create, with the movement card, I see momentum, is going to create a certain specific frequency of momentum that is going to be relevant and activated throughout this whole 18-month cycle. Now, that's not to say that you can't change that or adapt that, but it just will, you're going to gain more leverage if you set yourself up exactly how you want in the beginning, rather than have to maybe change course, direction, intention, or whatever halfway through this transit of 18 months. Now, let me just pull out a few more cards. I'm just thinking which ones. And here we want one of these. Let's see what we get. Higher self, connecting with your inner guidance. Okay, I know exactly what this is. I'll tell you this in a minute. But I just also want to pull one more card here. Ooh, Kundalini. I love this card. But you can't, it's so annoying, you can't really see the words. Oh, there, just about. There. It's in gold. These cards are beautiful if you can get the light on them. I don't know how to do it. But anyway, trust me on that. Okay, and then just before we do that as well, we're just going to roll these 3 dices. So I'm here with these 3 as well. Okay, so we have the 11th house. Whoops, the 11th house. We have, Mercury, which is great because Mercury rules Virgo. Although I am also of the belief that Chiron rules Virgo, but I have a different perception on Chiron. It's not just the wounded hero. And then we have Taurus. Right, so just give me a minute so I can just give you a bit more insight on all of this. Okay. So immediately with this one, what I could really feel is, and it sort of comes down to self-worth as well a little bit, but and also Mercury really, because Mercury is known to be like the messenger of the gods. I really think it's really important that you maybe kind of have a bit of a moment with yourself, ask your higher self, ask your own consciousness, ask your spirit guides, ask whatever is your belief system, to really kind of unveil anything that you need to know to do with merging your energy and resources with another person, a business, a contract, whatever it might be. I think it's going to be really important that you keep checking in with that internal guidance to do with this energy of merging your energy together, because also with the Kundalini energy here, for me this really goes into sharing in a way. Because when I think of 8th house, which reminds me of the sharing card, and also I know the 8th house is where most of you Virgo risings will have the North Node of the Moon in Aries moving into for 18 months. This is very much, 8th house is very much a sex energy. And what I mean by that, it's like 2 energies coming together that merge together to create something else. For example, a baby, a business, a contract, a belief, whatever it might be. And the Kundalini energy, I almost think, is the electricity that kind of merges the 2 people's different energies together to create this new source, whatever that source is. Like I say, whether it's a child, whether it's a business, whether it's a decision, whether it's an action you take together, whatever it might be. And I just think it's really important because 8th house and Kundalini energy is very, very potent. And I know that you Virgos can be so sensitive to your environment and changes in your environment, and also how you do use your energy and blend your energy in your environment can have a real impact on you. So I think it's really important to always check in with your higher self over the next 18 months, and definitely in July, about all the additional insight and guidance that you need to know to do with this kind of sharing of energy that is also going to be given this extra kind of electric current of the Kundalini energy, which means that you're almost in a very high potent manifestation state, because it's also the energy that I think can create children. So just know that you're in a very, very creative stage, but it's over an 18-month cycle. I do want to say with the 11th house here, I do think this can be dreams and wishes coming true. It's got that kind of energy to it. But it's also ruled by Aquarius, and Aquarius is very sudden and radical, and I think Aquarius energy is very similar to Kundalini energy. So again, that just tells me you've kind of got a double loading of this Kundalini energy. So again, the intention, being very conscious about where you're liberating your energy, you're moving your energy with the movement card, definitely to do with sharing and merging with another thing. It's very important that you're very clear on what you're doing. And I think with the Taurus energy here, again, for me, this comes back into the higher self. I think it's really important that your self-worth is where it needs to be. And I think don't do anything hasty. Taurus energy is quite stable, it's quite still, it's quite static. And I do think that's the sort of energy that you need to be in when you're in this reflective mode, when you're asking for this internal guidance. And I think, things are generally going to come up over the next 18 months to do with sharing assets, resources, merging your energy with another party, another person, another business, another job, whatever it might be. And I just think it will give you so much. Let's put it this way, if you're a Virgo ascendant and you sometimes have digestive issues because you're so sensitive to your environment, and I'm laughing because I am this person, it will just do you so much good to slow things down and internally ask for guidance, because you'll be very, very receptive, I think, to spirit guides and different energies with this Mercury energy. And I think there's a lot of guidance and support out there for you. And again, like, you've got a lot of good luck to do with this, I think, over the next year, because the conjunction that happened last month in Taurus is also in a way on this axis for you guys, to do with sharing resources and assets and stuff like that. So I think you have a lot of protection, but it is really important to be checking in with your guidance. And I think, again, this is something where this reading is very much a reading for you to reconsider over the next 18 months and make sure that you're considering all of these factors, and just know that you're in a very, very creative, potent state for the next 18 months. And so in order for you to be able to handle this in a way that doesn't disrupt your internal homeostasis, like your digestion, or even depleting your energy, or whatever it might be, and also making sure that you're making the correct kind of like merging of your energy with whatever it is outside of you. Definitely take time to connect with your higher self. And I think the sooner you do that, the better. And I think it would be almost great for you to have much more of an open dialogue with this type of energy over the next 18 months, but definitely starting in July. Now, let me just get a Royal Dark card. So let's see what's the additional guidance for you guys. So you know what I'm feeling with this one? Let me just double check. Yeah, I thought so. It's from The Witches. I don't know if you ever read that Roald Dahl book. I totally love it. And this is where they kind of turn him into a little mouse or rat. On the back it says, suddenly he had a tail, and then he had whiskers, and now he had 4 feet. So suddenly he had a tail and whiskers. And I think the thing is, again, 8th house, which is this sharing energy, which is also where, for you Virgo as risings, the North Node, the direction is going to be pulling you is the shared resources, but it's also a house of deep transformation. And obviously, as we can see here, when a boy goes from a boy into a mouse, that's an insane transformation. And I think, again, because there is a lot of potent creative energy around you, because there's lots of momentum in this way, and because you really will change massively over the next 18 months to do with all 8th house themes, I feel, but definitely to do with this sharing, this collaborating, this merging assets and energy together. I think just take your time, and please check in with your higher self and keep yourself grounded and meditating, and just slow things down every now and then, because I think this will enable your deep transformation to not be shocking but just magical. And again, 11th house, I think wishes coming true. I think this is a great energy for you guys. So it's just about finding a way to allow yourself to really transform, to do with this area of your life, which is all around the energy of sharing yourself and allowing something else to share with you. I think this is going to be amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. Please obviously check out your sun, moon and rising sign. If this wasn't your wildcard option, check out your wildcard option. And then I'm also now giving, on my website, I do 5-minute readings, 10-minute readings and 15-minute readings. So if you want a bit more insight on this, one of those really quick, short, cheaper readings might be perfect. So other than that, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll read for you guys soon. Bye! Hi there, so this is message for wildcard message number 7, but this is essentially the reading for the Libra archetype. So if you are sun, moon or rising Libra, this reading is for you. So let's see, what do you need to know for July? So I think Libra, one thing that is really important, and I mentioned it in the last month's readings, is we get the nodal shifts and they go into your axis, the Libra Aries axis, which is going to emphasize the 1st and 7th house energies type themes. So also for you Libra, it's specifically the south node of the moon, and when that happens on your sun, moon and rising sign, it's I just think a lot of things are going to come up for you, and I definitely feel for you guys. I think there's big things about people pleasing, how you may put yourself last and others first. I think there's a lot of this that's going to start to come into question for you guys, but it's only going to be an amazing thing, because it's going to help to balance out your energy and Your self-worth, I think, is going to change a lot through this. But anyway, I'm hearing we don't read anything reversed, so let's see. Okay, wow. So the first card that we have here is we have the Seven of Emotions. Okay. So that's five of emotions, Five of Cups. And then we have Three of Inspiration, which is Three of Wands. And then we have Muse of Inspirations, which is the Page, I really like this, which is the Page of Wands. And then we also have Strength card, but also the Leo energy here. So you guys might also want to check out the Leo reading too. That was actually a really nice reading. But anyway, let's just see what's going on here. So what do you guys need to know? Okay, so you know, with this Five of Cups coming out first of all, but then closely followed by three of Wands and Page of Wands and the Strength card, I think in July you're going to overcome, and again this feeling of inertia is coming through to me. I feel like it's a theme that you've been stuck on for quite a long time, and I reckon it might have been the last 18-month cycle. So that is when we had the North Node, as we do at the North Node and the South Node in Taurus and Scorpio. I feel like maybe quite a lot of things have come up for you about how you need personal satisfaction and what is personally satisfying for you, and I think you've become very, very aware about what is not personally satisfying for you. I think this has really kind of brought some things up for you where you're really aware, you know what, this doesn't make me feel good, this isn't really me, this doesn't feel aligned to me, this doesn't feel like my highest potential in physical reality. And I feel like you I feel like it comes to a bit of a climax in July. But the good news is this, with the Three of Wands coming, and particularly if you look at this card, it's got kind of like this woman and all the dominoes are kind of blowing down. I kind of feel like whatever has not been personally satisfying and fulfilling for you, particularly on an emotional level, and because it's an emotional level, it could be to do with relationships, but also really it could just be to do with your own heart's desire, like what drives you, what doesn't drive you, what makes you feel, what lights you up, basically. Because as well with the Leo card here, Leo is all about doing things that it knows light itself up, and Leo actually is an archetype, is really, really good at basically doing what makes it feel good, regardless about how that affects other people, how other people feel about it. Leo is very, 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 very driven to manifest their heart's desire. Now obviously sometimes with that Leo archetype it can go too far when it goes too much into what it wants, and it really doesn't think about anybody else because it thinks life is all about it. Like being the sun, it kind of thinks, oh yeah, but I am the main player. So sometimes that Leo energy can be you know, you have to be careful that you don't get into that place. However, I think most Libra archetypes, you're way too nurturing and sort of, no, it's not so much nurturing, you're just way too diplomatic, and you always consider everybody else, not just you. In fact, if anything, sometimes Libra, like I opened up this reading with, sometimes I think you are prone to do what other people want over what you really want deep down inside. And so but I do think, again, going back to where this story is taking us for July, it does feel like you're suddenly going to be having a whole new way of actualizing, but I think in the beginning it's just sort of like realizing, particularly with the Page of Inspirations. I think in July you're going to understand what it is that you really have to do to start making yourself feel happy, feel fulfilled, and all of these kind of things. Yeah, I mean, that's just really what this feels like. So one thing that I would say then, Libra, is don't ignore what has not made you feel fulfilled, emotionally fulfilled. Really don't ignore it with this Five of Cups here, because again, because it looks a bit frozen-y, I do think this is something that's maybe been going on for you for quite a long time. And again, it feels like it might have been like almost like an 18-month cycle if you were to look at it. But this is the thing, you're going to start to understand and see a way forward, is what I'm kind of getting. I feel like in July you're going to start to find a way of moving forward to do with this, about what really makes you feel personally fulfilled. And basically, I think as well with this Leo energy here, you're going to start to really understand what you need to do to get your own needs met. I think this is going to be really, really important, because again, with the south node of the moon going to be moving through the sign of Libra, and this change of axis of these nodal points happens on the 17th of July. So from the 17th of July for 18 months, this south node is going to be in your sign Libra. And then it's going to be in opposition, or the north node is going to be in the opposite sign to you, which is Aries. But I kind of feel like you're going to start letting go of a lot of this people-pleasing type of energy. And also, I think you're going to be letting go of like not getting your own needs met. I think that's something as well that's going to start to have a massive shift point. So you might also find that things change a lot for you over 18 months to do with relationships, because when you start definitely asserting yourself and putting out that your needs are just as important as other people's, that will be also a bit of a shift for the other people in your life to adapt to. Now, I'm sure many people have no problem with that, but you might find that there's a few that find that more difficult, particularly if they naturally hold this space here, if they naturally are more somebody that finds it really important to get their own needs met above anybody else's. Then you might come into a little bit of a clash with that long term. But I mean, I only think that's a good thing, really, because it is something that needs to happen. But now let's see, what other cards do we have here? So we have Rainbow Boundary, protecting your true self. It's interesting with this protecting your true self. I think it's more about, again, getting your true self's needs met. And one of the ways, and I think it's just a case of, it's just time. Because as well, a rainbow boundary, for me, is very kind of like open. It's very open, and it also means that I also see it's like all of your chakras aligned. And when all of your chakras aligned, I think you're naturally going to go into a really healthy place to do this Leo energy. And in fact, one of the messages that I'm getting quite strongly for you guys is, I think it's worth you, I've got a video on my channel which is the highest potential of the Libra archetype, of the Leo archetype, and I really think it would be worthwhile you having a read about that, because this is the sort of energy for you to start to actualize. I would also say as well, find out where Leo is in your birth chart, because I think it'd just be so healthy for you personally to bring in more of the positive characteristics of the Leo archetype. Now let's just see. And we also have, okay, grounding, and we have a goat here. So that also gives me quite a feeling of a Capricorn-y type of energy too. So one of the messages that's coming out with this Capricorn card here, or the grounding card, is, I think just know that what I'm talking about here is a bit more of a long-term shift. And it does really feel like it's going to be part of this 18-month cycle. So I think be patient with yourself, and just know that if you have been in a place, or you are in a place where you don't really feel emotionally fulfilled, either within your own life or within your relationships or whatever that might be, this is when everything's going to start shifting. But I would say as well, Libra, because the north node of the moon is going to be in Aries, it will be about you taking action. To some extent, you're not just going to be able to just wait and life's going to do it for you. You are going to need to make a decision that you want to have your needs met, and that you want to have a life that is in alignment with who you really are, your true self, and also your heart's desire, what lights you up. And that will sometimes involve making some difficult decisions. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's always difficult to have to follow your true self and to have to go with your own heart's desire, because our physical reality currently is not set up with that as the main priority, to say the least. So that just means that at times you are going to come into conflict to do with this. If this is the pathway, if this is truly the pathway that you want, and this is the pathway that you're going to go on, you're going to have to be okay with there sometimes being a level of conflict that's going on around you. But all I can say is I really do feel like it's going to be in your interest, and you're going to really love it in the end. Now let's just get some die. What do we have here? Wow, so we have the 7th house. So obviously the 7th house is the house that's ruled by you, Libra, and it's also the relationship axis in a chart. Then we also have here Pisces. And actually, I think Pisces is really interesting because on one level, I think it can be quite similar to the Leo energy, but the almost like the more positive attributes of the Leo energy in terms of the open-heartedness. Everybody always talks about Leo having a big heart, and the thing with the Pisces energy or archetype is also it has a completely open heart to everything. And I think that that's something that's going to be really important, that you really allow yourself to open up your heart and open up, and particularly 7th house to do with your intimate relationships and partnerships. And this also, 7th house can be quite a businessy house. It's where all contracts are made, whatever contracts, whether they are marriage, whether they are sharing a flat with somebody in the contract you sign, whether they are like business negotiations, signing contract with a new job, whatever that might be. And I think it's just really important that when you are in any of these decisions to do with these long-term contracts, connections, etc., that you've really got to have, I think you've also got to use your intuition. And because there was something with this 5 of Cups coming out, and I did say, look, if anything's not fulfilling for you on a heart level, but also in your relationships, I do think you've got to ask your inner self to help you, guide you how to move forward in these setups. And then here we also have Pluto. So Pluto is also that house of deep transformation, and that for me is because for some reason it's been really, obviously it's very relevant since July is the month that we get this nodal axis shift, and it really puts an emphasis in your sign Libra, but also brings into the 7th house play. So generally for everybody there'll be lots going on collectively to do with their own independence and also their interdependence. And then obviously people that don't have a healthy setup with this, there'll be lots of codependence going off. So I think just stay, and you being obviously the Libra energy, and because the south node of the moon is going there, the south node of the moon is going to try and show you things that have not been working so that you can make changes. And I often think wherever the south node of the moon is, it's asking you to combine some of wherever the north node of the moon is. So because the north node of the moon is in the sign of Aries, it's asking you to be more assertive. It's asking you almost to be more selfish. And when I mean that, I mean just putting more emphasis on what you do want and not compromising so much what you do really want. I do really think that this is really, really important. And I suppose again the Pisces energy sometimes I think works quite a lot with you guys Libra, because with you you've got the 2 scales going one direction and the other, and with Pisces you've kind of got that you've got the 2 fishes swimming in different directions, so you kind of share this same sort of I don't know, this same sort of energy around I think how you view the world. And you're obviously looking for balance, and Pisces is kind of looking for inclusivity. So I do think it's going to be important that when it comes to who you let into your life, I do think, again, because Pisces with the 7th house relationships, I think you might, and Pluto being here as well, you've kind of either some relationships are going to come into your life, some people are going to come into your life over the next 18 months that really, really transform you in some way, and also you transform them. Or also there might be really quite a big transformation that occurs in your relationships, in the ones that you currently have. And I do think there's something about being inclusive, bring in that inclusivity. So it's not about shutting yourself away. Don't shut yourself away, but do assert yourself. Because I think maybe Libra, if you feel like you're not getting your needs met, rather than you stand up and say that you're not happy with something, I think you might be a bit more prone just to close off and shut down a little bit and retreat a little bit. And I'm hearing that that is absolutely not the thing for you to do, because with the Strength card, the Leo energy being right in the centre of your reading, this is all about the spotlight being on you. And this is all about the fact that you are going to have some kind of magnetic pull to you, particularly in July. So allow it to be about you, and also start asserting yourself. Because also the way you start this 18-month cycle, which begins on the 17th of July, to do with getting your needs met and all of this kind of thing, and asserting yourself, how you start this pattern is going to have a background beat for the next 18 months. So I think it'd be really good for you to start this in a way that sets yourself clear from the beginning. Like you are worth the attention, you are worth having your needs met. It's not for you to always have to compromise. It's not for you to always have to people please. Because if this is something that you've been doing, with Five of Cups being the opening into your reading, the Five of Cups is always a disappointment card. It's a lack of fulfillment card. And because it's to do with the emotions, the cups, it's a lack of emotional fulfillment. And you know what? It's just for a sign, Libra, that rules a house of relating, you know, it's just really important that you are not going to feel this Five of Cups energy in your relating parts of your life. And whether that is business area, with contracts, with partners, or whether that is romantic area with girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. It's just really, really important that this starts to be really fulfilling for you. Now, let me just get one last card here. And we're going to use these Roll Dial cards because I love them. Oh, wow. Okay, so you get the magic finger. I love these cards, I think they're so cool. And it says on the back here, and suddenly a sort of flash comes out of me, a quick flash like something electric. It jumps out and touches the person who made me cross. Okay, I really love this because this is somebody asserting how they feel when somebody has basically not made them feel good, has either stepped on one of their boundaries, particularly with that thing about being crossed, that feels like somebody that stepped on somebody's boundary and the other person is not having it and they're just being like, nope, and then this magic finger comes out. And I can't remember exactly what happens in that story, but all I know is in context with this reading, you know, start asserting yourself. Leo as well will have really good boundaries. In fact, Leo sometimes can have way too strong boundaries that can actually be rigid, because it is a fixed sign. Now, it's not that you need to go into that place of rigidity to do with your boundaries, but it is definitely about bringing in some boundaries, particularly when people are not making you feel good, and therefore they're not meeting an important need of yours. So, I hope that reading was good for you. Obviously, check out your sun, moon and rising sign, and also check out your wildcard option if it wasn't this message number 7. And also I'm now doing 5-minute readings, 10-minute readings and 15-minute readings that you can purchase from me on my website. So if there's another question that's come up as a result of this reading, those kind of reading options are the ideal thing because I can just very quickly answer it leading on from this question. So anyway, I hope that was good for you and have a lovely July, and know that the next 18 months is a very, very important time period for you guys, and you are going to leave this next 18 months, if you do it in a way where you're working with life, where you are absolutely going to be getting your needs met in your relationships and in your business contracts and just in your life in general, and it's going to take you to a place of complete emotional fulfillment which maybe you haven't experienced yet in this lifetime. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. So hi there, Scorpio. This is for everybody that chose either message number 8 as the wild card, or this is the reading for the archetype of the Scorpio energy. So this is if your sun, moon or rising sign is Scorpio. This reading is for you. So what are we going to start with? Yeah, we're starting with this tarot. Right. So good news for you as well, Scorpio, is on the 17th of July, the nodes of the moon are going to move out of your sign, which I think is just going to be a real relief, to be honest, because it can be really quite challenging when you have the south node of the moon going through your sign, and that's what's been going on for you, Scorpio, over the last 18 months. So it's a long time. Oh wow, and here we go. We then also start off with the 10 of Wands. And this is the thing, I think the opening is, and we're talking about that, I'm not even opening these yet, but I do know anything that's been really difficult and challenging and felt like a real burden, and it's been very difficult to change, particularly over the last 18 months. So whether that is something to do with relationships, work, money, health, family, whatever it is, it's going to start changing now. It truly is. And then we have the 4 of Swords, so reflection energy. And then here we go, Wheel of Fortune. What did I tell you? There is going to be a change. And then we have, oh wow, really big change, because then we have the Death card straight after that as well. Okay, so like I said, all of the difficulties and the heaviness that's been going on over the last 18 months, and basically where there's been a lot of stagnation, so stuff hasn't really been moving. And let's say because things haven't been moving, life's forced you to have to self-reflect, because almost like it felt like a lack of almost like inertia going off. With the Wheel of Fortune and the Death card both coming out, not only is this a massive change in circumstance, but it's a massive change in circumstance that ultimately is a huge transformation. And it looks like there's something big that is going to be happening for you guys in, oh god, I'm just about to sneeze as well. Oh, it's gone. In July. Now let's just get a little bit more about what is this. So let's just see, changing from what to what, and also transforming from what to what. So let's see what this is. So changing from the Two of Wands to the King of Wands, and then transforming from the Knight of Pentacles, there's that slow energy, to the Three of Swords. Right, okay, so first of all, what I can say with this is, I feel like there is this theme, a relationship type of theme, kind of loitering around is what I feel. And this is a lot of what this might have been to do with. Maybe it's something about difficulties in a relationship, or finding it difficult to even be in a relationship. Or if it isn't that, it's something to do with like difficulties and stagnations on some level, to do with just something that's really important to you. So that could be a job, it could be a passion, it could be anything. So whatever is the thing that's really important to you, that's been stuck, stagnant, not been able to move, but something where you've really wanted there to be a lot of movement, I do see that you're going to find a way, and it's going to start in July, of really starting to, this is like an entrepreneurial energy. So it almost feels like you're going to be asserting yourself in a new way. It's almost like there's going to be a new lease of life from where you were stuck in a stagnant space. And I do really feel like as well, this happens because of a really deep, it's like you're having a really deep transformation about where you are. And I don't know why I'm getting this with this card, but I am. Where you have like, not taken full responsibility for your situation, and because of that you've had your expectations hadn't been met. I do really feel like, and I can't really tell you why I'm reading it like that, but I am, but it just feels that you over the last 18 months there's somewhere where you haven't been taking full responsibility for something, although you might have been telling yourself that you were taking full responsibility. But I'm just really getting through this reading that you haven't been taking responsibility, and as a result, the result was unmet expectations. So basically, your expectations weren't met. So kind of like disappointment, because the Three of Swords card is very much a card of expectations not being met, that leads to a kind of sadness and disappointment. But I kind of do really feel like this is. I think over the last 18 months, this might have been highlighted a lot to you, even though it might have been concealed in some way, so you're not aware of it. Although deep down inside, Scorpio, I think you're always aware of it, because you are one of the most perceptive signs there is in the Zodiac. You see through bullshit, you see through other people's bullshit. I do feel that you see through your own bullshit, but I think sometimes, like all of us, we can have really fixed belief systems and stories that we tell ourselves, and I think it's either a story that you tell yourself or a fixed belief system that has meant that you haven't quite taken as much responsibility as what you usually would, although you might not become aware of it, and because of that you've not felt like you've had your needs met. But I do feel like with this with the change of the nodes and the south node of the moon moving out of your sign Scorpio and into Libra, I think for a lot of you, you're going to find that you almost have a new lease of life, and that you're starting to take control. You're starting to take control of wherever it was that you had lacked responsibility in the past. And that's going to be different places for all of you. But interestingly as well, what I do feel with this is where you've like not taken responsibility, I get this strong feeling that it's influenced another area of your life, even though that other area of your life, you wouldn't necessarily see it as interrelated, but for some reason it really, really is. And it kind of feels like you've not taken responsibility somewhere that isn't really like, it's like well, I suppose in some ways it is important to you. But the thing is, the knock-on effect of where then you've got stuck is something that is really, really important to you. So it just feels like a levelling up of you being responsible about something. And again, I do think that deep down inside you'll know what this is and where this is, because you guys are so perspective. And I also think you shouldn't be hard on yourself, because it's not that you've not taken responsibility because you are negligent or anything like that. It's more that you have had a bit of a blind spot here. There's been a bit of a belief system that's kept you stuck, and that's been in conflict to what your perception has been showing you about the situation. But I do see that all of that is going to be changing, which is great. Now, let's see here. What else do Scorpios need to know about July? Again, friggin' hell. So this is the transformation card again. I don't know if you can see it says transformation there. I don't know why I can't get the lights on this. But anyway, this is the transformation card again. So now we've got death and the transformation card here. Also, your reading feels, the way that it's coming out, it kind of feels a little bit all over the place. So I feel like July might have a little bit of chaos to it, but I do think it's creative chaos. It's almost like, I think sometimes when a transit finally leaves your sign or something that it's touching, it can do one last little just like shake up sometimes as it just leaves. And I think that that is what's happening, because also the 29th degree of any sign and the 0 degree of any sign is known to be a place, definitely the 29th degree, although it's not really, but that's like a place which is very it's very naturally intense by its nature. And also you, Scorpio, are also naturally intense by your nature. So just whatever happens in July, I think the thing is, relax with it, because it's only going to be short. So any disruption that occurs, you don't need to react to it, because it's only a very short-term thing, and things are really going to be changing. And they're going to be changing epically, to be honest, with the Wheel of Fortune, the Transformation card, and the Death card. Now let's just put one more here. Dimension. Okay, this one also came out for Leo, actually, interestingly enough. Let me just have two more here. So we have the Moon card, Secrets, Mysteries, Cycles, and Vigilance, Watchfulness, Guidance. Okay, so this for me is just really emphasising what I was saying to you guys earlier. I think that you're going to be finding a way through where you've been stuck, and it's just where there's almost been a bit of a smoke screen that you've even had to do with yourself. And for some reason I feel it's about something about taking responsibility where you haven't taken responsibility and you usually would. You're going to become aware of it, and you're going to go into full diligent mode, like you often are, because Scorpio is a sign that has massive integrity. So as soon as you're aware about what you're doing in this unhealthy way, you're going to very quickly and easily God, I don't know why this reading feels so the cards are everywhere, but anyway, you are going to be able to rectify this very, very quickly. And I do just think that towards the end of July you're going to feel so much better. Anything that was difficult or chaotic and turbulent, I do feel like it's going to level itself out. So the beginning of the month I think could be a little bit tricky, relax with that. The middle of the month could be reasonably intense, also relax with that. But by the end of the month I do think things are going to have just sort of like they're going to have calmed out a little bit. And I think you can have a sigh of relief, because I don't think there's anything too major going off in Scorpio for a little while after this as well, which I think is, you know, a real, let's say, blessing. And I never usually use that word, but that's the word that's coming to mind. So I think the main point is, Scorpio, just know wherever you had lots of intensity, wherever you've had, you know, you felt like you've had to work hard and nothing's come through. You feel like things have been stagnant. It felt like no matter what you were doing, nothing was really changing. Now massive changes coming through towards the end of July, because you can't have the Wheel of Fortune, the Death card and the Transformation card all coming out without some massive transformation occurring for you guys in July. And I think anyway, from the 17th of July onwards, I think you're just going to feel a lot lighter. You know, wherever it's felt heavy for you guys over the last 18 months with that south node of the moon being in your sign, it really, really is going to start to ease off the pressure. And it's going to be a lot easier to move forward in whatever direction it is that you want to go. But I would say there is, and I really don't know why there is this energy coming through about being responsible. I do think, I don't know, it's just really important for you to be responsible over the next couple of months. Particularly somewhere where maybe, because you know what it's like, we're all responsible in some areas of life, not in others, etc, etc. Just wherever you haven't been quite taking full responsibility, there's a need for you to take responsibility in that area now, and that's only going to open up other areas for you in a way that's going to be incredibly fulfilling. Now let's just get a card here. These are the roll doll cards. Good luck, Chidders. Okay, let me just read this on the back because I don't know which one this is. Oh, this is from Boy. Oh, Roald Dahl's autobiography about his life when he was young. Okay, so good luck, Chidders. So on this one here, what am I getting? Because I don't know the exact story. I suppose what I'm feeling with this is I think you feel like life might have been quite hard on you for a little while recently. And maybe life has felt, I do think it's felt like a bit of a drudgery in some ways, but I just think that you're getting, I think life has done enough of like what would I say, metaphorically telling you off, or trying to, not force you, but highlight things to you in an uncomfortable way. I just think all of that is now going to be coming to an end. So I just really think it is, I don't know, I think it's like a sigh of relief. And I do really feel as well with this is called Fool's Gold, but I think it can be quite a prosperous kind of crystal, although it's very heavy. I do really feel that you are going to have some much lighter energy coming in, is all I can say. And just everything will start to change now. But just keep going the course, and just, you honestly haven't, as far as I can think astrologically, there isn't any major things that are going to be going off in Scorpio for quite a long time now. And I do think that literally, to be honest, for the last 10 years, there's been on-off, or even since 2012, there's been on-off really intense things going on in Scorpio. So it's been a full-on decade where I think Scorpio has had a very intense time. And just know that that is going to start easing up now. And I think that's just something to be really, to hold on to, if that kind of makes sense. So I'm going to leave that reading there. Obviously check out your wildcard option for July if this wasn't it, and also your sun, moon and rising signs readings. And then also, if there's any questions that you have off this, I'm now doing really quick 5-minute, 10-minute and 15-minute readings that you can buy on my website. So just go through there and I'll give you some further clarity with what's going on here if that is what you need. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing month. Just know that everything is going to become so much lighter, Scorpio, and you really have done well, because it's been an intense decade for most Scorpios. That's what I do know. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Hi, Sag, or anybody that chose message number 9 as their wildcard message. So this is the reading for the Sagittarius archetype energy. So if you're sun, moon or rising sign Sagittarius, this is the reading for you for July. So which cards are we going to go with? I feel like going with these intuitive ones first. Let's see. So what do we have going on here? Okay, so we start off with the 2 of coins. Then we have, oh wow, 9 of flames. That's 9 of wands. And then we have 7 of feathers. That's 7 of swords. Right, so let's just see what's going on here. Okay, so Sag, what I feel could come up for you guys in July is there's some kind of decision that you end up needing to be making. I do think it could be based primarily around something financial, but if it's not financial for you, it's a genuine decision that you need to make in physical reality to do with an area that's been unstable. So for a lot of you, I think this is to do with finances in some level, but if it's not finances, then it's just wherever there's been quite a bit of instability in your life. And that could be in any way. That could be in family stuff, that could be where you live, it could be in your job, it could be in your relationships. Wherever there's been instability, there's now a decision that you have to start making to do with this instability. And I do think with the 9 of Wands here, it's going to feel a little bit intense having to make this decision. And also with the 7 of Swords here, you know, this has come up, there's been this energy of like, throughout a number of the different readings that I've done this month, where it's almost like self-deception has been going off, and self-deception has been creating some trickster moments. And I do think as well there's a need to be really honest with yourself about making a decision to do with something that has caused a lot of instability in your life, and it will feel a little bit uncomfortable with you having to do it, but I do just feel like it's a really important thing to do. And I do think as well, because the nodes of the moon are going to go on the 17th of July, the nodes of the moon go out of the Taurus Scorpio axis and they go into the Libra Aries axis. So the Libra Aries axis is very much about relationships, but really importantly it's really about that combination of independence and interdependence. And whether you can find a healthy ground with that or an unhealthy ground with that, that's going to be a big theme that's working for everybody over the next 18 months. And also about partnerships, who we're partnering up with, how we do leadership, and all of these kind of things. And I do think often the Sagittarius archetype just wants to be very free. So it's not that it necessarily wants to be the leader of something or anything, but it also doesn't really want to be a follower. So you sit in an interesting place to do with this dynamic. And I do think a lot of Sagittariuses can often, not all, but quite a lot of them can be lone wolves. There can be that sort of energy that goes off. And I think a lot of Sagittarius can tell themselves that, oh no, I'm really happy with that, I'm happy being a lone wolf. But I think that in itself is a sort of this self-deception about not facing up about something that you maybe feel very intensely about and intensely do want, but you've not been able to lock down in the past, and it causes a lot of instability in some way or other. I just want to get one more card. Whoa, and there it is. The Tower card, wow. Well, that one was definitely wanting to come out. So yeah, it does really feel like you're going to have, I think you're going to have a very big breakthrough in July. And again, it's still about the same sort of energy, but it's just a case of you're not going to be able to avoid facing up to do with something to do with this. And like I say, it's somewhere where there's been instability. I do think with this Tower card, you are either going to become aware of where that instability really lies and what that's really about. So you kind of like, you break through and destroy unstable foundations just purely through your perception and your awareness of it. And then I do think for other people, depending on where they're at, you can potentially have a little bit of a rug pull that goes off in July. So it may be something that's a little bit more shocking to do with this sort of energy, this sort of theme that we've been talking about. But I think that's only for the Sagittariuses that are not listening to their intuition and their instinct. And I do feel like most of you here at this reading will be listening to your intuition and your instinct. So I think the important thing is don't ignore what your intuition is saying, particularly around this theme of whatever has been unstable. And that maybe you're trying to pretend to yourself you're okay with that instability, when deep down you're really not okay with that instability. And then once you can acknowledge that to yourself, then I think life is going to show you through, I don't know, you know how life works synchronicity, like in a synchronized way, and I know Sagittarius really understands that kind of letting life flow with life kind of thing, or play with life, or however they want to word it. I do think then you're going to start to see life's going to show things to you, if it's in songs, if it's what people say, if it's in dreams. You're going to get reoccurring echoes that are going to help you work with this. So I think it could be a very powerful month for you to really start to pivot to do with whatever has caused a lot of instability, or somewhere where there's a lack of consistency and you've really deep down been wanting consistency, but I think to the outer world you might have pretended like you're okay with that inconsistency. And obviously Sagittarius is a mutable sign, which means it is prone to be flexible. It doesn't need to be really fixed, let's say like a Taurus energy, but for some reason there is something here that is unstable, and it's a decision that you need to make to start to change that in some way and create some new kind of foundation. Because again, when the Tower card comes up, it's kind of, it destroys foundations. Anything that's like not healthy, it kind of destroys it. And it basically, I suppose another way of looking at the Tower card, it's kind of like, it's like getting rid of all the weeds in the garden. Only the Tower card does it all in one big lightning bolt strike, is kind of the way that it is. And I think that's the way that you kind of need to be mindful about this. Now let's just swear a few dice, I feel like it. So we have, okay, second house, so that is of financial things and your self-worth, but also your gifts and talents. And then we have Aquarius, which is very much about that community type of energy and also that cosmic consciousness type of energy. And then we have Mercury, Mercury, which is also known as the messenger of the gods. So I'm actually thinking as well now, I think for a lot of, well, it's funny enough, when I first saw the two with this, I thought of the Two of Cups. That made me think of relationships. But also the second house is, although it is ruled by Venus because it's a Taurus house, but it can also be this financial element again. And regardless of what this is, whether this is love or money, I really don't think it really matters. But what I do think is important is the Aquarius and the Mercury, because when somebody has Mercury in Aquarius, they are incredibly perceptive and they'll get really quick downloads that show them exactly what is going on in detail in the entire situation. And it's funny because we talked about a lightning bolt strike when I was talking about getting rid of all the weeds in the garden. I absolutely think you guys need to stay open to you having kind of like a lightning bolt strike of perception to do with whatever this instability is about that we've been talking about, because it is absolutely coming to you in July. And I think be very, very open to it, because you need this awareness to now move forward in a way that's going to be more fulfilling for you. But importantly, it's going to be more stable for you. And it's not going to be stable as in it's going to fix you and lock you down. That's not going to happen, Sag. Sag, that's never going to happen to you because that's not how you work. But you do need a new foundation now in order for you to start to cultivate more of what you want. So just be very, very open to what messages come through for you. Now, let me just pull. Let's just pull a roll dial card. Which card do you get? Oh, no way. I feel like, and I think Leo actually got this. Something like this one. So it says here, "What a load of luck," cried Mr. Wonka. "We've landed ourselves slap in the middle of the biggest space operation of all time." And this is from Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. I love the fact that it starts with "what a load of luck," because I do think Sagittarius is naturally a very lucky sign because you're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is all about good luck. So I suppose, not that you guys need this, Sag, because you're super optimistic. I know what potentially we touched on was maybe a little bit heavy for your liking on the whole, but the thing is, I do think, as always, you're only ever going to get something really fruitful out of what happens in July, and definitely to do with whatever this perception is. But I do also think, with it saying "what a load of luck," we've landed ourselves slap in the middle of this biggest space operation of all time. I feel there's something about space and Aquarius. It's very futuristic, and actually Sagittarius, you are really futuristic because you're very forward, future thinking. You think very much into the future. And so wherever this instability is and this foundation that needs to change, that needs to go, I think one of the ways that you can start to work with that is, you know what, start to have a long-term goal. Because also Aquarius here, Aquarius rules the 11th house, and 11th house is also known to be all about long-term goals. And I just think some long-term goals will help give you a focus, a direction, a place for you to aim. And you always, as the archer, you are always going to feel great when you've got a place for you to aim. Yes, I know that you can wander, and I suppose this is like this indecision energy. Two of Coins is an indecision energy. Yes, I know that you can stay in that space a lot longer and a lot happier than many other signs, but still nothing is going to make you feel so good as having a purpose. Because you Sagittarius love a purpose, a direction, almost like a destiny feeling. And I do really feel like that is coming for you guys, in that awareness of what that is, where for you to aim for your future goals. I do really think that that is coming in July, so stay open to that. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. Obviously, if this wasn't your wildcard message, choose one of the 12 crystals for your wildcard message. Also check out your other readings, whether it's your sun, moon or rising sign. And also now on my website you can purchase 5-minute readings, 10-minute readings and 15-minute readings. So if something comes out of this for you and it's not quite been answered, or it's opened up more questions, the best way to get those resolved is just message me for a 5, 10 or 15-minute reading, and I can quickly go through that with you. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Hi there, Capricorn, or anybody that chose message number 10 as the wildcard message. So this is the reading for the archetype energy of Capricorn, the sun, moon and rising sign. So Capricorn, what are we starting with first? I feel like, actually let me go with these first. So let's see. Oh, I always love Capricorn energy. Both my parents are Capricorns, so I know Capricorns well. And they're great for a little Pisces fish like me. Oh, nice. So the first card that we have coming out here is Surprise. I wonder what that's about. And then we have Physical Body. And then we have Hope. And then let me just get one more. And then we also have Choice. Okay, so just bear with me just while I have a look at these energies together. So what's going on for Capricorn then in July? Okay. So I feel, obviously with the Choice card, that really pulls me in. And the Surprise, I do think there's a decision that you end up having to make in July that kind of takes you off guard. You weren't expecting to make it. And I do think as well it's going to be on a very practical realm with the physical body energy here. So I wonder if this is very much something to do with a work situation, a job situation, something financial, something within that kind of space is what I'm feeling. And with the Hope card, I think it says to you, look, you end up making a really good choice about this. And that does make sense to me, because I think Capricorns, the Capricorns that I know, like my parents, they always make really great savvy decisions to do with things that are financial, practical, grounded, you know, like money, housing, jobs, everything like that. They always do the due diligence and they don't take risks with it. However, you know, with this Surprise card, I'm wondering if this also means it's not just a surprise to you, but it's almost like maybe you have to surprise yourself by the choice that you make, which makes me think, I wonder if there is a little bit more of a risk involved with this decision. So that might be, you can't really weigh it up in a way that's practical, and by weighing up the decision, you know beyond reasonable doubt that this is the direction to go in, to do with the job, money, whatever it is like that. And so I think you're going to have to actually go into that bit more of that more uncomfortable space for a genuine Capricorn archetype energy, which is where you might have to just risk something a little bit. Because the Hope card tells me that there's some form of risk involved, the same as the Surprise card. But let me just, let's get some tarot out here. So let's have a little bit more info. So we have 9 of Pentacles, Okay, so this is, again, telling us it's something job-related, financial, stuff like that. Then we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, here's the risk card. Knight of Wands is prone to take risks. And then here, we also have the Page of Cups. Okay, so I think it just makes you feel... I think all it is, look, Capricorn, there's a decision that ends up coming up, and it might be something that you weren't expecting that's going to come up for you to have to make, to do with something around these physical elements of like job, money, career pathway, housing thing, anything sort of very, very practical in that way. And obviously for some of you it could even be something to do with your health on some level. But I didn't really initially read it as that way, but I'm just saying open to possibilities because so many of you watch these videos. So I think something's going to come up. It's a surprising thing. You weren't expecting it. And I think you have to rely on your confidence to make good, savvy decisions, which for some reason I'm feeling is the Nine of Pentacles. And so you're okay with having to take a little bit of a gamble on this one because it's not a straightforward decision. And I also think because you have to make the decision quite quickly. But I do think as well, all it is it's just going to make you feel a bit emotionally uncomfortable because it's not a realm that you're used to being in. And also, obviously, surprises, you know, depending on how much Capricorn energy you have in your chart, surprises might... My mum's got about 6 planets in Capricorn, and surprises is not her... place of happiness, put it that way. Even if it's a great surprise, my mum likes to be in control of physical reality as much as she possibly can, and that's what makes her feel safe. However, my mum will do calculated risks, but if it's a risk to do with money, that's not ever going to feel comfortable, and she's still going to err on the side of caution. So I kind of feel like this is the sort of energy that's coming into play for you guys in July. Let me just see if we can get any more on this. Which cards are we going for? Okay, let's get 2 of these. So we have Fool's Embrace, transmuting pain, and we have Dragon's Hoard, protecting the future. I mean, I think Capricorn is very, very focused on protecting the future as an archetypal energy. Again, I just think this Fool's Embrace. So the Fool in Tarot absolutely takes risks. It walks off the cliff, basically, into something it has no idea what it's going into. You know, I think actually your biggest leverage point in July might actually be having to go into a situation, a circumstance or something which you have no experience in whatsoever. And I just feel like even though that's going to feel very uncomfortable, it's beyond your comfort zone in July where the greatest pot of gold is for you. So I would really, it looks like it's really encouraging of you to just go into, if a situation occurs, which means you have to go into something which doesn't feel, maybe it doesn't feel safe to you because it doesn't feel comfortable, because it doesn't feel familiar. It's all about you going into something which doesn't feel familiar, or you interacting with the situation in a different way to usual, which also doesn't feel familiar. There's something about that is just really, really important. And I think you're going to be very, very surprised by how well it goes if you step into the unknown in this way. This is the overall message that I'm getting for you guys. Now let me just pull one more card here. Got these Roald Dahl cards, which I absolutely love. So it says James and the Giant Peach, and there we go, that's just the message on that one. So I suppose what I'm feeling with James and the Giant Peach is this is an incredibly surprising situation that some giant peach exists that you're going to go on an adventure with. Now, I am obviously not saying that this is what's going to happen, that a giant peach is going to like turn up and ask you to go on an adventure with it. But what I would say is, look, it's definitely about you going into that place that is really uncomfortable for you. And also this could very much be to do with a business venture as well, because like I say, to do with money, to do with housing, to do with job, career, that sort of thing. And I do think it's very, very encouraging of you to kind of go into an entrepreneurial space in July. And I don't just mean entrepreneurial as a business, although that could be what it is, as a business venture. But I just mean an entrepreneur is very much, the entrepreneur really, I think, is the King of Wands, not the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, I think, can just be a bit more risk-takey. And the King of Wands can be a bit more savvy with the risk-taking. But I do think you're really being encouraged to... it's okay to do something in July where you do not know what the outcome will be. And obviously we can say that we can never know what the outcome will be, but certain things we can have a better understanding because maybe there's less variables or there's less things to interact with that thing, which make the probabilities of what will happen smaller. Whereas I feel like whatever is going to come for you in July, it's not going to be, you're not really going to be easily knowing how it's going to turn out. But I do think there's going to be a pull for you to go into that direction, and I think it's really important to go into that direction, because as well with the Dragon's Hoard, I see that as a pot of gold. I see that there's a pot of gold for you guys in whatever way you want to, I'm talking about that metaphorically, so obviously that can be money, but it's more just like a very optimistic outcome to this situation for you guys. But it does involve you having to go into the unknown and be willing to be more entrepreneurial with how you engage with whatever this situation is, because there's an air of risk-taking, but it's healthy risk-taking. But I do think that's going to feel uncomfortable to the Capricorn archetype. I'm actually really intrigued now to know what this is, so if you guys ever message me later and tell me what this is to do with, I'd find that fascinating. But I'm going to leave that there now. So that's my message for you. Make sure you check out your wildcard reading if this wasn't your wildcard reading, with 12 different readings to choose from, and also read your sun, moon and rising sign to give you the full better perspective of July. Also, I'm now doing 5, 10 and 15 minute readings that you can buy from me on my website. So if this opened up some questions or there's something you want to ask about this, that's the perfect sort of reading. Just purchase 5, 10 or 15 minute reading. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Have a great month. Bye. So hi guys, this is for the Aquarius Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's also for anybody that chose message number 11 as their wildcard message. So let's see, Aquarius, what is going on for you guys? So I'm actually drawn to do these for you, so we're getting 3 of these cards. So let's see, the first one we have is the Wall Obstacles. Then we have Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom. I really like that card. And then we have, Dragon's Hoard, Protecting the Future. Interestingly, Capricorn had that card out as well. So let me see. What do I feel going off with all of this? Okay, so Aquarius. Obviously, so Pluto is moving into Aquarius and it's going to be there for 20 years, but also it dipped in for a few months and now it's just dipped out again. I feel like you were shown something over the last couple of months. So let's just say March, April, May. I think March, April, May, June, I think you have been shown something where there's a level of resistance, where there's something that just doesn't feel great for you, or it showed you something that you needed to become aware of, like an area of life that wasn't quite best for you or wasn't working in its best way, whatever. And I do really feel like when it says Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom, it feels like there's something that's in your energy field that's been there for a really, 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 really long time, and it's something that you've been protecting for some reason. So you've not been wanting to move away from the status quo of some sort of family pattern. I feel like this is very much to do with a family pattern, and I do really get this strong feeling that, like, I think that it's around about December or January or something when when Pluto moves back into your sign, because it's going to be in Capricorn again just for a little while or for a few months. But I really feel like you've got a couple of months, let's say about 3 or 4 months, to really eradicate this pattern, so that then as soon as Pluto moves into your sign properly for the next 20 years, you can start off that new cycle in the best possible way. But the way you do that is, it showed you something over the last few months of where there's something that needs to be sorted, resolved, settled. I really feel, looking at this, it's definitely something to do with an ancestral pattern. So you're going to see this pattern in your parents, in other relatives, maybe in your grandparents. It's going to be very, very obvious to you. And Aquarius, you're amazing at seeing into things. So you do have the perception to know what this is. And then the thing is, I think that maybe there's some sort of reason, you know, sometimes we have contracts with different souls and all the rest of it, while we stay sometimes in unhealthy patterns, and definitely ancestral patterns that can have a lot of weight behind them, because there's so many different family members that have repeated the same pattern one way or the other, and so it kind of grinds it in and makes it even more potent. But I do think with this Dragon's Hoard, protecting the future, funny enough, this card was like a pot of gold card for Capricorn. And actually for you, I just see it as a warning just not to hold on to this pattern and to get rid of it. And for some reason, there must be something that's quite important to do with this in July. What I'm feeling with this is, because we get the nodes of the moon shifting on the 17th of July, when they go out of the Scorpio Taurus axis into the Libra Aries axis, I think Libra Aries axis is quite a masculine feminine kind of axis. I mean, they all have that, but this one I particularly feel it. And I also do really feel like it could be very much something to do with this family pattern is something to do with relationships, I feel, and relationships between genders, or let's just say masculine and feminine energies. I think there's something there that is really ready and time for you to let go, release, and you don't need to be protecting that. You can break free from that. And what I love about Aquarius energy is you're ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is always the disruptor. Uranus can always break out of any stagnant pattern, and that feels like that's something really important for you guys to... I'm hearing it's more like in July, just be aware of it. And then the following couple of months, then do something about it. So this is almost like a fact-finding month, I feel. And it's almost like a fact-finding within your own psyche, which I do actually think that you'll be really good at. Now, let's just pull out a few more cards. For some reason, I don't feel like we have any tarot for you. So wisdom. Oh, I really like this card for you, the owl. Because the owl is quite an elder energy as well. And then we have, oh wow, reincarnation. Now interestingly, I'm not seeing this as reincarnation as a past life theme, because it really 100% feels ancestral to me. But what I am getting with this is reincarnation. It reminds me of, it's just saying to you that there is, you can do this in a completely different way now, and now is a great time to actualize that. I think you do have a lot of the understanding of it. Like I say, fact find a bit more this month in July, but then really start to take the action that's needed so you break out of this pattern, because it's going to change everything for you, and it's going to put you in a really good position when Pluto finally re-enters your sign and remains there for the next 20 years. Because that ultimately means, if ever you've got Pluto going into your sign, that means a deep transformation on multiple areas of your life, but it will happen steadily. It's not going to be super disruptive like some of you Aquarius might be used to, with you having Uranus as your ruling planet. But it will just happen slowly over time. And I do think with this reincarnation, for me this is like it's a very optimistic energy that's saying, like, you can do things different. There's always a chance to do things different at any kind of point. Now let's feel like we do the dice. Okay, so then we have the Sun, and then we have Aries, interesting, and then we have 11th house. So Aquarius, you rule the 11th house, and the 11th house is a very auspicious house. It's a very lucky house. Because wish fulfillment can occur there. And I do really feel like, when you I think you kind of have an idea about what this pattern is. And when you actually do sort this out, there's, a lot of your wishes can then really, really be fulfilled. a lot of things can start to be fulfilled, particularly on a relationship level. I think a lot of things can start to be fulfilled. Now, I also think with the Aries energy coming up here, this is very interesting to me because in July, the North Node of the Moon actually moves into Aries. So I would say have a look in your birth chart to see which houses Aries covers, because I think there's something probably important about that as well to do with this energy that we're talking about. And then I just think the Sun is just showing that there's going to be a lot of energy and momentum in July to do with this that we're talking about. And I have to be honest with you, if you're not looking at it, I think July could start to feel heavy, because it's one of those things where it feels like life is saying, like, you need to look at this, you need to look at this. I just want to pull just a couple more cards though, because I do want to make sure that I'm getting this all correct for you guys. So let me just push this all up here. And one of the things that I do really recommend, like, I think shamanic stuff is absolutely incredible for anything like this. So if this is really making sense to you, I really think a shaman can help a lot with this. I know I got trained as a shaman a long time ago, and although I don't do that for people, I do always recommend people go and see a shaman when there's something like this going off, because it can really help liberate energy, and it can help do it in a very nurturing way, which I think is also really important. So then it says here we have keeping up appearances, tactical finesse. And then we also have the Lovers, family matters, affection, loved ones, connections. So you see, family matters, I do really think this is an ancestral pattern without a shadow of a doubt. And again, keeping up the appearances and also protecting the future. I don't know, I feel like there's a part of your soul that maybe, even though I think a lot of you might understand what this pattern is, for some reason you felt hesitant to break out of this pattern, which is almost quite a paradox for like an Aquarius energy, because again, you are ruled by Uranus, which forces patterns that don't work anymore to be broken down. But again, we did start off the reading with obstacle, so it says that this isn't a straightforward energy for you guys to be working with. But again, I just want to point out that, you know, when you do work with this and you do liberate this energy, there'll be a really amazing wish fulfillment with this 11th house here. There'll be a real wish fulfillment coming true for you. And I think, again, it might be very much something, like I said earlier, to do with relationships. So I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but I feel like if you're not in a relationship, this will allow you to get into a loving, healthy relationship. Or if you are in a relationship, if it's not healthy, you will walk away from it. Or if you are in a relationship, the relationship could just become even deeper. The connection could grow even deeper. And either way, there'll be something super beneficial from it. And also, if you were somebody that was wanting to start a family, again, I think you resolving this would really help you start a family. So it can work in many kind of ways. Now I just want to pull out one more card. Let's see. So these are these roll doll cards. And look, what? I'm gonna just, no, there's two there. So let's just let's see. What do you get? Oh no! It says here I come, you grisly old Gruen, you rotten old turnip, you filthy old frumpet. This is from the Twits. Okay, so you know what I'm getting with this? When I'm hearing, here I come, you grisly old whatever, you rotten old turnip, you filthy old frumpet. I think this is the way for you to engage almost with this heavy ancestral pattern. And like, look how he is, I think he's trying to get her to fly away with all the balloons. And I do think this is the thing. It is now time to completely let whatever is this old family ancestral pattern, and like I said, I think it's got stuff to do with the masculine and the feminine, and how the masculine and the feminine energies interact with each other in an unhealthy way. I think it's time to completely let go of that now. It's like an old pattern, it's grimy, it's heavy for you guys, you just don't need it. It will be causing complications in other areas of your life. I literally think it's time now to let it go. And like I said, I really do recommend going to see a shaman for stuff like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reading. Please also check out your sun, moon and rising sign. And also, if this wasn't your wildcard option, choose one of the 12 options for your wildcard option. And I'm also now doing 5, 10 and 15-minute readings that you can buy from me on my website. So if something was pertinent with this and it's come up and you just want to ask a quick question from it, that's the best way for you to do it, by buying one of those quick readings. But there are also snapshot readings whenever you just need a little bit of guidance about something. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you, and have an amazing July. And do know that you're going to be going through so much deep transformation over a long period of time, and yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. And to be fair, Aquarius, you've also not long had Saturn going all the way through your sign for the last 2.5 years. So wow, I do think, you know, life is asking a lot of you at the moment, and I do think it will have been showing you many different things that aren't working, because also Saturn will do that. Saturn's a bit of a taskmaster. This isn't right, that isn't right, sort this out, sort that out. But do know that I do think that Pluto is going to be almost a softer energy than what you've experienced over the last 2.5 years with Saturn, because Pluto happens over a much longer time period. So almost like the story is almost like a series on Netflix, whereas Saturn in your sign for 2.5 years is more like a film. That's the way I describe it. So yeah, anyway, look forward to hearing from you guys. Have a great month. Take care. Bye. So hi there, Pisces, and anybody that chose message number 12 as their wildcard message. So this is the reading for the Pisces archetype energy, sun, moon and rising sign for July. So let's see, Pisces, what are we going with first? I want to go again with these cards. Right, let's see. So Pisces, what do you need to know for July? Oh, amazing. So we start out with the 10 of Cups. What a beautiful card to get. Then we have the Son of Coins, so that is like the Page of Coins. And then we also have the 3 of Cups. Oh, wow. Okay, this is great, because Aquarius had quite a reasonably heavy reading, but that's okay. But it just shows you've got a different sort of thing going on. Although it is interesting, because Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, you obviously have Saturn going through your sign, and it's going to start to go retrograde as well. Or it's going to be retrograde in July, so it means you're just going to be re-going over a few things that have come up over the last few months. There's just, or it's going to, I don't know if it's going to be coming up, because what I do really feel with this is, and this is so great, so I feel like you sort of have, I think, just a lot of emotional fulfillment in July, which is such a great thing for Pisces. And also with the Page of Coins, it feels like you're going to have a new way, you're grinding in a new way of starting to be a lot more sociable. And this is really kind of interesting, because you would think with Saturn going through your sign that this wouldn't necessarily be an energy that would be coming up, but obviously for July it really, really is. And I do also feel like it's... I actually do think as well, though, that the Saturn and Pisces work quite well together, because I'm a Pisces, and although my Saturn return absolutely kicked my butt, I became very aware of Saturn, and therefore I've always tried hard to make sure I am honouring and respecting Saturn's ways. And when I do that, things work out well for me. Even when there's challenges and there's difficulties, I am still on some level enjoying myself, because I think I've got a healthy mindset to do with Saturn now. And I do feel like a number of you watching this reading, this is where that you're at as well, to do with responsibility. I think obviously different challenges must have occurred for a lot of you, where you but you also understand how to always find the joy and the pleasure regardless of what is going on. And either way, I just think that it's really important that you're being very sociable in July. Let me just pull another card. I'm just going to pull clarifiers for each of these, because I want to make sure. So 10 of Cups is clarified by the Hierophant. Okay, wow. Okay, so I think you're really starting to understand what you need for emotional fulfillment, and it's almost like you are already cultivating and creating your life in alignment with what you know gives you emotional fulfillment. And I think you understand that emotional fulfillment isn't necessarily that immature perspective where everything needs to be amazing all of the time, but you just know what makes you happy, and as long as you're on that pathway, you can handle the ups and downs of everyday life, which I think is a great place to be in. And then the Page of Coins we have by the Six of Coins. Nice. So the Six of Coins I always see as a giving and a receiving energy. Give, receive, share and grow. And again, it feels like you're in a good place to do with understanding the balance of giving and receiving in your life, which I think is very important for Pisces, because Pisces could be a sort of energy that could get taken advantage of because it's so open and it's so inclusive. But again, it seems like you've got quite a good balance with that. And then we've got the Three of Cups with the Queen of Cups. So that's a very nurturing motherly type of energy. So wow, all I can say is July is really great for Pisces. So Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, and anybody that chose this as their wildcard option, the July for you just seems like it's important. If what I would say is to be in balance with this sort of reading is make sure that you continue to work towards and commit, because I think the Hierophant card is very much a commitment energy. Make sure that you're working towards and committing to what you know gives you emotional fulfillment, Ten of Cups. I would also say Ten of Cups, so this also is about the happy family, the happy home, the happy marriage, the happy everything to do with relationships. So I think it's important that you give time and space, as you probably already do in your life anyway, to do with all of these different types of relationships in your life, because clearly I think a lot of your enjoyment in July is going to come from those relationships that you have with people. And then I also just think it is really important that you are being super sociable, but I think that you're being sociable with the Queen of Cups in again just like a very healthy kind of way. So you're not overdoing it, you just got a really nice balance to it. Sometimes I think the Three of Cups can be a bit superficial, but with the Queen of Cups coming in there, I think it's I think it just gives a little bit of grounding to your sociability. So it kind of feels as well like you being sociable, I think there's a lot that it's going to give to you in a I think it's just going to make your heart feel, I think it's just going to make you feel more connected into life, is what I'm feeling with this. Now some people as well might read this as Three of Cups and Mother of Cups. Wow, this is a lot of cups energy. But again, I don't know, with you having Saturn in your sign, you're really not going to be going off-piste, as in getting ungrounded. And probably that's why this is working so well, because actually for a Pisces to have Ten of Cups, Three of Cups and Mother of Cups, that could be a huge amount of water. But then again, you've got two coin cups here and you've got the Hierophant, and I think the Hierophant is a very grounded card, because I think the Hierophant is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus is a very stable energy. So again, I just think you've got this lovely balance in July of emotional fulfillment, but you're also really grounded with it and very kind of mature with it. And it wouldn't surprise me if you can get a lot achieved. I feel like you're able to get a lot done in July, because you've got the emotional drive, but you've also got the practical application and the grounding of like these sort of more earthy type of elements. So I think as well, if you have projects that you're into, creative projects, business projects, whatever it might be, I think this is something where it's really beneficial for you to kind of put quite a bit of your energy into that, as well as you socializing. And you might even find that some of your socializing actually brings out some kind of connections, some really useful connections to do with whatever it is that you're wanting to do. But now let me just pull a few more. I mean, this is such a lovely reading. It always surprises me how different everybody's readings can be. I'm going to see if I rock the boat with bringing out these cards, because these can be a little bit more heavy, but let's just see, because I definitely want to make sure I'm not missing anything for you guys for July. So then we have Sky Bridge, possibility for union. Oh, that is a lovely energy. Again, this union and all the cups card, it feels very emotional and sort of relationship, and Watchers, transpersonal. Okay, so again, I do just think this is just a really great month for you guys, Pisces. I think focus on your relationships. I think there's a lot to do with relationships, but I also think there's a lot that you can be building. So I wonder if some of you are going to be building some things with some of your relationships in whatever that way might be, whether they help you with work, you help them with work, businesses, creative projects together, moving together. I really don't know, but either way, that just seems a very positive outlook. And also for those of you that are not in a relationship, Sky Bridge, possibility for union, I think this on top of the 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups, Mother of Cups and the Hierophant, it all says to me that there's a really good chance that you could really be meeting somebody that you could have a very nurturing, loving and also very practically fruitful and abundant relationship with. So stay very open to that as well, Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, if you're not already in a relationship. Now with the, I just want to pull one more card here. So these are roll dark cards, I love them. We're just going to add this to the flavour of your reading. So which this one? It says here, the giraffe's neck, which heaven knows was long enough already, began to grow longer and longer and longer and longer and higher and higher and higher. And this is from the giraffe, the Pelian me. So what I just really feel like this is, you know, the Sky Bridge, possibilities for union. It just feels like you've got a really expansive energy around you in July. So I think just go with that expansion, because you know what it's like, we don't always get this. I am again fascinated that you've got this energy going on when Saturn's going to be going retrograde in Pisces, but I would imagine therefore a lot of you that are reading this reading are Pisces people that are already in a good place to do with Saturn. And I suppose one thing to know about Saturn is ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, Pisces is a water sign, and earth and water signs get on well together. They work well together. And again, my parents are Capricorns and I'm a Pisces, and I get on really well with my Capricorn parents, and I actually find we can laugh a lot together, and that reminds me of 3 of Cups, Mother of Cups. We can laugh a lot together. But I also do find their advice very, very helpful and useful, because they do see things from a different angle to me. But for some reason, and it must be this kind of earth-water combination, I don't feel like I'm in conflict when they're telling me something different to what I believe. And I think that is partly the power of being able to work with that sort of Saturn energy. If you're not resisting what Saturn is showing you, and if you are working with it, and if you are honouring and respecting whatever Saturn is showing you and Saturn energy itself, I think having Saturn in your sign can be incredibly productive. And I do think Saturn can get a really bad rap, but that's only if you are not paying attention to something or you are ignoring Saturn's messages. But obviously this doesn't seem at all like this is what any of you guys are doing. So this was a really great reading. I loved reading for you for this. Obviously, please look for your sun, moon and rising sign for the rest of July. Also choose another wildcard option. And I am now also doing 5-minute, 10-minute and 15-minute snapshot readings that you can purchase from me on my my website. So if some questions come up from here, if you want to explore this more, or if you've just got a quick question that you want to ask, the 5, 10 and 15-minute snapshot readings will be the best ones for you to buy, and they're also a lot cheaper. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Have an amazing July. This looks really, really good for you. And to be honest, good for you, Pisces. Clearly you know how to work with the Saturn energy, and I think that's really, really great. And if you're a Pisces where this doesn't quite feel right, then I think it's a case of have a little read around Saturn, because I think if it's not working for you right now, it's just because you're not quite in tune with what Saturn is showing you. And Saturn is all about responsibility, accountability, practicality, being responsible, doing the due diligence, and also being aware of the time element. Because actually Saturn doesn't let things necessarily happen quickly, but when you understand that and you have your expectations in alignment with Saturn's kind of timeline, which is you will have to work hard and it will take some time, it can allow you, it can be a lot easier to work with this energy, and in fact it can be very, very fruitful. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great July. Looks like you will, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.